One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Boomer Nation. A time of the day, it's Friday, and we're going to celebrate Boomer Nation today. Proud boomers and the rest of you that support proud boomers. We're not backing down. I feel like Tom Petty. I won't back down. I'm a boomer, and I'm loving it. And if you think you're going to take what's mine, good luck with that. I'm going to show you some things. We're going to have some fun tonight. It's Friday night. It's Friday. It's kind of chilly down here. I can't wait to go watch a movie with Robin on the couch and have something to eat and just chill. And in the meantime, I said, let me get a hold of my boomer buddies and my boomer buddy aficionados, those of you who aren't quite boomers. And let's have some fun on a Friday night. It's kind of relaxing. President Trump, he got the hell out of Dodge. He left Washington, D.C. He landed down here. Well, actually, he's due to land any second down here in Palm Beach. And so he's coming down to chill. Let's all just chill tonight. Let's have some fun. So I'm going to start the show off with a segment. I don't know, I'm going to have to make a nice little title for it. Let's call it like Exonerated. I'm going to think of a name, but I had some fun on Twitter today, X. And I just want to share some of that fun with you because no man should have that much fun on his own. You know, there's a huge thing going on right now where the algorithm on X seems to be completely screwed up. If you click on a couple things, they're going to feed you all kinds of stuff. And so for the last 24 hours, my feed has been with everybody who hates us. I don't mean Trump supporters. I mean everybody who hates boomers, which is funny in its own right. Because what about Democrat boomers? What about independent boomers? So these kids hate all boomers? Yeah, it seems so. They just want to take over the world without knowing what to do. They just want to take your stuff. They think we're crazy. We've worked. We've invested. We are having success. We are having fun. These people don't have any fun, and it's all your fault. So I thought I would have some fun with their idiocy today. I want to ask you a question. When did you, when did you make 100 grand in a year? And some of you who have been successful will say, yeah, I remember when I made 100 grand the first time. Those of you who didn't, I'm going to ask you a second question. What would you do if somebody had offered you $100,000 to do a job? What if you opened up your own business and you made $100,000? Would you consider that to be good? Well, that's because you're a boomer. You don't realize it. You don't understand the truth. $100,000, that's nothing. That's nothing for us kids. We don't even want to settle for $100,000. Oh, you think I'm kidding? Let me just give you some background on what I'm actually talking about. CEO of Ford, the automaker, CEO of Ford, company's been around quite some time, says he currently has 5,000 open mechanic positions with six-figure salaries. The car makers struggle to fill jobs that require training and manual labor, reflect a general shortage of even blue-collar workers in the United States. They're trying to find 5,000 people across the country who are mechanics that want to go work for Ford, a very stable company, and they're going to pay you $100,000 a year plus. And he can't find them. He can't find the people to put in these jobs. Meanwhile, we've got nuts, I'm going to show you, who are walking around and they want to go on strike because Starbucks won't pay them more. But he can't find people to go work for $100,000. And I know it must have shocked him because he must have said to himself, how is it possible that I can't find people who want $100,000? Let me show you the actual article, and it's absolutely crazy. I mean, crazy. Ford CEO says he has 5,000 open mechanic jobs with six-figure salaries from the shortage of manually skilled workers. We are in trouble in our country. Oh, we're in big trouble. Oh, we're going to have some fun tonight, but you best believe we are in trouble as a country. And it goes down. Let's see here. Speaking on, I don't know if I can make that any bigger. Speaking on office hours business, Farley said Ford had 5,000 open mechanic positions that it hasn't been able to fill despite an eye-popping $120,000 a year salary, near double the American workers' median salary. So this guy said, hey, listen, I need workers. I'm willing to pay double what the average worker gets. I'm going to pay you 120 grand to start. And you would think at that point that the CEO of Ford would have an overwhelming amount of applicants. Not so fast, my friend, in the words of Lee Corso. So I don't know who these people are. The Latinx adjacent doctor. But she says, no, he doesn't. He has 5,000 mechanics jobs that if you bring your own entire tool cabinet and take zero job security, it will allow you to barely make $100,000 if you work 80 hours a week. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. It will allow you to barely make $100,000 if you work 80 hours a week. So I posted, read that twice. Read that twice. Read it 3 times. Understand that these knuckleheads, these morons, are not going to look at a job that pays you 100 grand because you might have to work 80 hours. We're doomed. Whatever you got in your retirement, have fun with it. We're doomed. Doomed boomers are what we are. These people behind us, unless you're training grandchildren like I am, we're doomed. They actually put the, so I'm going to have to make 80 hours to work 100. I got to work 80 hours to make 100 grand. And I'm not even looking at the chat, but I bet you back in the day, you know, they say, I used to walk 6 miles in the snow. Back in the day, we would have crawled through glass for $100,000 for 80 hours in a week. Crap, I can't remember the week I've had in a year and a half that's been less than 80 hours in a week. Let that sink in. I start somewhere around 6 or 7 looking at stories, and I edit all day, and people get pissed at me because I talk about real estate, and then I come back and I do 2 shows, sometimes 3 shows, 1 show on Friday, 1 show on Saturday, 1 show on Sunday because I got to get some rest, but I work way over 80 hours in a week. The wife, she'll order food for me, so when I get off the air, there's a nice meal sitting there, or we're going to go out to dinner, whatever. She treats me so well because she knows how much time I put in front of this box called a camera. And these kids are laughing, shunning a job that will pay you $120,000 a year because it might make you work 80 hours. Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. So that's 40 hours tax free. Somebody says, yeah, I always worked way over 80 hours a week. Yeah. Somebody goes, well, you sit there, Barry. Really? You think that's easy? You think that's easy, huh? I want you to go ahead and open up a YouTube channel and produce 2 or 3 shows a day of original content for the most part, 7 days a week. Go for it. Let me know. Let me know if sitting there sounds so easy. Because some people don't understand what you have to do to put in it. How you have to train your voice even to talk this much. I mean, I don't have to do much in makeup because I got that going on. But I digress. You think this is easy? Go for it. Latte taste on wine box budget. Exactly. These kids are doomed. These kids are doomed for sure. But what that means is this country is doomed. There's nobody. We don't have enough people coming up behind us to take care of business. But it gets better. Oh, that was just one. Then this guy, this was funny. If you notice, it says the post is unavailable. The post is unavailable. This guy was crying and whining and bitching and moaning about boomers. And here was his post. Actually, somebody goes, stop teasing. What happened? I said, someone should told my daughter while the excuses are flowing from these nuts. And this guy, well, he didn't like it too much. Let me see if I click on it because this is on a different login. Yeah, here's what he said. That he no longer wants me to reply to. You've got to go away because you're talking too much truth. It's simple. Let's say a young person, by parental help and scholarships, graduates without debt, drives an old beater car, gets an entry-level job making 65 grand. There is simply zero pathway to outsave inflation and buy a home. Don't let these Indian scam artists and boomers say otherwise. And that's why my comment was just very simple. Well, someone should tell my daughter. Somehow she went to college and she got out of college and she and her husband, they bought their own home. I ain't going to tell you what she did to do and how she got it. But it's a very, very nice home in a very, very nice area of North Carolina. But he's saying, boomers, don't let the boomers tell you otherwise. How about the people who are actually doing it? See, it's easy to say that because I don't know if they're going for clicks and likes or whatever, but it's, oh, woe is me, and it just can't be done. So you're talking to the other nuts who feel exactly the same way. You like that, talking to the choir mentality. And I chime in and go, wait, really? You can't buy a house? No, it can never happen. It can never happen. There is zero pathway to buy a home. There is no chance. None whatsoever. There is no chance. There is no pathway for you to ever buy a home if you're not a boomer. These kids are screwed. They're done. They are absolutely done. What was the next nice one I had? Oh, this was a good one. This is something that resonates with me. I was in my late 20s when the jabademic happened. Now in my early 30s. I'm not in a bad place, but I've stagnated. And there's no real opportunities to change my position in life. Can you even imagine being, as he says, in your 30s and having no real opportunity to change your position in life? His words, not mine. I'm in my early 30s. Maybe he watched too much of Friends or something, but he's in his early 30s, he's a 30-something, and he has no real opportunity to change his position in life. Whew. Wow. Wow. Can you even imagine that? This dude is throwing in the towel at 30. When all the opportunities for social advancement are given to foreigners, DE hires, sycophants, don't be surprised when folks like myself adopt a political stance of burn it all down. We have nothing else to lose at this point. Can you imagine being 30 years old and going, that's it? I've reached the pinnacle of everything I'm ever going to be able to do the rest of my life, so I might as well burn it all down. Wow, I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine it. So my comment was, there's no real opportunities to change your position in life. Whose fault is that? Who has put you on that path that ends with the road being broken? There's no road. It just fell out. It got washed away. Who put you on that road? Who showed you that road and said, go this way? And as you were getting down that road, you realized it's a road to nowhere. There's nothing ahead for you at 30. And I don't know if he's trying to get clicks and likes and stuff like that, but there are people who believe it. I mean, he got a whole bunch of responses from other people who feel that way. Can you imagine, even if you're not a boomer, but if you're a boomer, can you imagine at 30? 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and wherever you were at that point, I want you to think back when you were 31, 32 and say, everything I've done past that age would have never happened. I had no opportunity past the age of 31 or 32. Who says that? What kind of mental midget insanity is it for someone at 31 or 32, he said early 30s, to say in public, I got no more opportunities, I'm done? God help these people. Pray for them. Pray a lot for them. I can't even imagine that degree of hopelessness. I can't even measure that degree of hopelessness. I'm 65. If YouTube said tomorrow, boop, you're done, I wouldn't even feel hopeless then. So what has happened to this entire legion of zombies who feel that life is over? There's nothing left for them. My best days were a barista, and now I'm no longer shilling coffee, and I'm done. That's it. There's nothing left for me. Notice he didn't say wife. He didn't say children. He didn't say business. He didn't say travel. Nothing. He's done. Checked out. Boom. Got the gold watch or gold-plated watch. And that's it. There's nothing else to look forward to. I can't imagine that level of ineptitude. Wow. That's something. I'm going to save that one till later. And then this one. Get your poo-poos ready and make sure you invest in some, bullets. Boomers have a different kind of oof coming. When the Zoomer Millennial Alliance, whatever the hell that is, confiscates their assets to transfer to Gen Alpha and restore the natural order. I don't know if this was some kind of code. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But the boomers, you best watch out. They're coming for you. We're going to take your stuff and we're going to give it to the Gen Alpha Zoomer Millennial Alliance. You're actually posting this stuff. He posted this thing here. It goes, objects in a mirror are closer than they appear. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for your stuff. And all I had to say was, yeah, what a shock these people are going to have. You guys can't even figure out how to get past age 30, and you're going to come for my stuff. Something's wrong. I'm having fun with it, but the other side of me is like, oh my gosh, these kids need so much help. They haven't gotten it. And they don't realize that they've been left on an island. They don't realize that their teachers, their professors, the politicians they follow, their parents, have all left them on an island. They're completely alone and stupid. Maybe not of their own doing. Maybe they were never taught ambition. Maybe they were never taught how to have any self-confidence, any self-worth. And so now all they can think about is taking your stuff. You don't deserve it. You're a boomer. You've made it on my back, which you weren't even alive because you just told me you were 30. So I don't know how that's supposed to work. How you blaming us? I'm 65. I was an adult with a child by the time you were even born. What the hell are these people talking about? How are they whipping themselves up in a frenzy? And you even have people on the right who are helping them, who are teaching them. Hey, the boomers have slammed the door behind you. You even have prominent podcasters, supposedly MAGA, are saying the exact same thing. So if it's being reinforced all over, we got a big problem. And that problem isn't a Band-Aid. That problem isn't, hey, listen, we'll get you a house. Hey, it's not. No, they're mental. They have mental infirmities. They cannot function in society. And right now, they are being egged on. There's an entire legion of people who say they want to take boomer stuff. That's where we are. 25 years of wasted people, cat box girls and boys, and everything's free. Yeah. Working 40 hours a week back in the 80s and 90s, mostly just paid for bills, food, and a little bit over once the 2000s. That's all I could see. Where is this? I am a millennial, and I'm not going to side with these nuts. Don't. And any of you who are watching this who aren't boomers, let me just tell you, if you're feeling that you're at a dead end, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people in this chat. If you say, I don't understand, I don't know what I can do to change my life, don't feel you're alone. See, one of the biggest problems that these people have is that they've got the best communication device ever devised. They're reaching millions of people. They have access to so many people, and none of them ever say, none. Can you help me? Can you show me? Actually, I'm going to take that back. I had one woman who reached out to me who she and her husband were laid off, and you have any ideas what we can do? And I started exchanging ideas with her. Hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And just giving them encouragement is like, give this a shot, give that a shot. And I'm not going to tell you what line of work it is because I want to keep her privacy. But there was somebody who reached out to me. He's like, what can I do with this skill set that my husband and I have? We got laid off. Okay, well, look at this. And the fact that she reached out puts her so far ahead of all the other nuts. Not that she's a nut. No, not at all. I'm talking about all those nuts who are just throwing in the towel. So I commend her. I commend her for saying, I know I have something to give to this economy. I know there's a place for me. I just need to figure out how to do it. Attention, where the attention, there is absolutely no shortage of truck drivers. You're wrong. I've been out there for 33 years. No shortage. Exactly. They just rescinded the 17,000 licenses that California gave to newcomers. So there's 17,000 good paying jobs. Of course, you don't know how to drive a big rig. You're going to have to go get training. But if you went to a big rig school, they'll give you financial aid because they know when you graduate, you're going to get a good paying job, unlike a college. A college is going to just take your money and let you take basket weaving. And then, of course, then you can be a barista. You go to a truck driving school and learn how to drive a big rig, they're like, hey, you get out of here, you're going to get a job. So we'll give you financial aid. I was 1958. Here comes a boom. Yep, you boomer. Come here and get my stuff. I will pardon you. I promise. They're going to take it. They're going to confiscate all your stuff. And that, it's so funny that they actually think they can. That's the scary part. And I've told Robin when she goes out and easy on the jewelry, watch out. There's crazy people out there. They see you, and they're thinking to themselves, I want that. I don't want to work for it, but maybe I can bop her over the head and I can get what she's got. But they might get got, if you know what I mean. Where is the old can do attitude? It seems to be lacking these days. They've never been taught it. They've never been taught you can do what you want. You got to learn. You got to put in the time. No, they want it given to them. Give me. Just tonight we've listed 22,000 jobs, 17,000 truck drivers, and 5,000 mechanics. All of them are going to pay you 6 figures plus. But then again, you might have to work more than 80 hours, so you're not going to want it. I need to make TikTok videos, and I need to go clubbing. Oh man, you need to buckle down and be an adult is what you need to do. They have been encouraged to be lazy and to take. Yep. Many big transport companies have a training program. If you sign a contract for a year, you can get your CDL for free. Wow, I did not know that. So they were given everything. Some of these kids never got spanked, and it shows. In the old days, I could have had a motor on a chain. What's this? I would have had a motor on a chain in 30 minutes. I've been a truck driver for 25 years. There's never been a trucker shortage. Biden administration allowed 200,000 newcomers into the trucks, and now as they're getting rid of these people, there's all kinds of opportunity. And Judy says, don't mess with boomers. We already old enough where we don't care. You are so right, lady. You are so right. But I just wanted to start the show with a little bit of fun and a little bit of seriousness for you to understand there are people out there, and there has to be a certain amount of them who are willing to hear from you and say, what can I do? I don't want to live this way. I don't want to be 30 and feel like the road is gone in front of me. It's been washed out. There's nothing I can do. There's no opportunity. That's horrible. That's almost suicidal. If you're 31 or 32 and you feel there's nothing in front of you, that's got to be utterly depressing. Utterly. I bet you there's some of you at 31, 32 were into your first or second child, on the way to your third or fourth child. I mean, life is so different these days, and it can only have been fostered at home. mom and dad, even if like my family went through a divorce, but there were so many people in the support group. There were aunts, there were uncles, there was grandparents. Everybody was around. Yeah, your two parents are kind of whack. They can't get along, but you're not going to fall apart. And I don't know if we've lost that ability to say, listen, these two people don't get along, but we're going to make sure that you get in there, get your grades, and you show up, and we're going to come to your game this weekend, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then when you go to college back then, go and get something done. Don't go for basket weaving, and definitely don't go to some schools that you're going to cost $100,000 unless they're giving you a scholarship. Utterly insane. And I don't know how we reach these kids if people like Mondami and the rest are promoting that kind of insanity, because it's really pretty bad. All right, let me tell you guys real quick about Chapter. As we've been talking about boomers in age, I'm sure you're well aware it's Medicare annual enrollment time. And as a newly minted 65-year-old myself, that means I'm getting buried under the same spam calls and junk mail that you are. And it's a nightmare, and it's annoying as hell. I have also learned that Medicare plans change every year. Apparently, some even disappear. So those of us that love our plans today, it might not be the best one for 2026. And if you don't double check, you could lose coverage for doctors or prescriptions that you count on. You know, I didn't know that. You know, you just, when working with somebody or going on Cobra or getting your own health insurance, did you know it just stops when you turn 65? You have to join it unless you do some different things. It's pretty crazy. And to make matters worse, most Medicare agents that you see on television or you call on your own are just going to push the plans that pay them the biggest commissions. That's not how Chapter works. That's why I recommend them for the Fanfare family. They check every single plan in America to make sure you get the best deal. On average, they save people $1,100 a year. They made it dead simple in one free 20-minute phone call. That's all you have to do, and they'll review all of your options. If you're already on the right plan, you're done. If not, they'll help you switch or get into the plan that makes sense for you. So get some peace of mind during this enrollment period. Do it. It ends, I think, December 7th or 8th. Call Chapter at 475-328-3545 and make sure you're set heading into 2026. Or you can go to askchapter.org/Barry and set up your appointment and you make the call. I'll be back in like 90 seconds. And that didn't work. Why did that not work? Okay, we'll use this one.
Somewhere to be every night of the week. Seems God ain't close as he used to be. And there's more tequila in this old town than pines in Tennessee. I ain't the man I thought I'd be. And these neon lights that keep me up got me thinking maybe mom and dad had it right all along. We're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, living in our hometown. You find a girl and get married before you're 20. But I've been running like a southbound train, as fast as a northern summer with no one to love. And it's making me wonder if maybe mom and dad had it right all along, and we're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever
right, so I want to jump into this next section as we're going to be talking about the food stamps program. There's something big getting ready to happen with food stamps.
Thank you for calling New Jersey EBT customer service. For English, press 1. Para español, for EBT, press 1. Enter the last 4 digits of your phone. Enter your PIN. Your SNAP balance is $23,235. $23,000 is her SNAP balance, her food stamp balance. I don't know how that's even possible. I don't know how you can accumulate $23,000 of other people's money in your SNAP food stamps account. That if we don't see anything else, that's the one video that you need to see and go, this is wrong. This has got to stop. We got to pull the Band-Aid off. We're done with this. We cannot allow that to happen. $23,000. How would you guys feel if you had $23,000 at your disposal? $23,000 of somebody else's money, and you're sitting there laughing on your $1,000 phone, picking up $23,000. It's bad.
Down saga was a political loser with a capital L for Democrats, but it did help shine a spotlight on the explosion of the number of people on food stamps, or as we call them now, SNAP benefits. The abuses, the fraud, it's estimated to be $12 billion. Seattle police just broke up a food stamp fraud ring, busting 18 people. They say were buying and selling EBT cards. That's become all the rage. Some even trading them for drugs. Food stamps for fentanyl. Lovely. And earlier this year, 6 people were charged in a scheme that totaled $66 million for food stamp bribery, one of the largest in U.S. history. And I asked President Trump about this ongoing problem. Can we reform SNAP and these benefits so they're used for the people who really need them?
It's meant for people. And you know what it does is it really puts the country at jeopardy. People that need it have to get it. I'm all for it. But people that are able-bodied can do a job. They leave their job because they figure they can pick this up. It's easier. That's not the purpose of it.
Here to discuss, Agriculture Secretary.
Before we get to Brooke, just imagine this has been going on for literally decades. And obviously it ramped up under the Biden administration. And for a country that is broke and $1 trillion in debt, it's just another brick in the wall on top of everything else. The USAID, the NPR, the PBS, the squirrels in running around and shrimps on treadmills. All the craziness that these people have taken from you. And now we're finding out this thing is billions and billions and billions of fraud, dollars of fraud have taken place during the entire debacle of food stamps. All the way back from the day when you used to have to count them out because there was a stigma. There was supposed to be a stigma. Hey, listen, all right, now go ahead and get a job so you don't have to keep doing that. And then they went to a swipey card where you just looked like you had an ATM card. And everything the Democrats have done have been to shield these people. And when I say these people, I'm not talking about the people who really need it. They're shielding the crooks. They're shielding the money laundering. They're shielding the drug buying. It is its own cottage industry that you and me are paying for. You know, boomers. You rely on us for everything, but then you have so much hate for us at the same time. How the hell are we closing the door if we're paying for all these damn programs? I'd love for someone to explain that to me. Hey, boomers are, they're making it hard on the young people. All right, we'll tell you this. We'll cut you a deal. Give me back my money. Stop putting my tax dollars into shit programs, and you can do whatever you want. I'm pretty sure most of you would feel the same way. So I'm not going to do SNAP. I'm not going to do WIC. I'm not going to do, and I'll just keep scratching. And you give me back what I've paid thus far in the last 20, 30 years, and good luck. You need us. You know, if you want to go back and use like the movie scene from A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson, you need us on that wall. You want us on that wall. But you don't want to acknowledge that we're the ones that allow you to steal and do the things that you do because you're taking from us. It affords you the lifestyle of being a complete EBT queen. And you don't want to say thank you. Because the furtherance in that movie was, I prefer you just say thank you and be on your way. And that's how I am beginning to feel with all this boomer crap. Just effing say thank you and be on your way. We're the ones who helped give you all these subsidies. When you needed that student loan, it wasn't your buddies. That student loan came from us having to pay it back because now you don't have to pay it back. Everything in your life you've been given to because it's from a boomer. Even when I was growing up, somebody else had to pay for it. Well, the school paid for the scholarship. But now we're the problem. Okay, you got a deal. You have a deal. And I'm pretty sure every single person in the chat feels the same way. Stop taking my money and do whatever you want. Deal? This is insane.
Brooke Rollins, Madam Secretary, great to see you tonight. So we know the administration is trying to bust a lot of these groups involved in this abuse. But how do we stop this before it starts so they can't even get as far as they get in these schemes? It's overwhelming.
It's pretty remarkable. And let me level set us for just a minute. It's so great to be on and talk about this. And it's funny. I think, well, funny is probably not the right word, but I do think what the Democrats did not include in their calculation in their insane government shutdown was the fact that this spotlight was going to be shined upon one of their favorite government welfare programs that under Joe Biden increased 40%. Where all that money went, trying to buy elections.
Okay, stop. Over the 4 years that Biden was president, the amount of people getting SNAP benefits increased 40%. That's almost half. 40% more people all of a sudden couldn't eat. Had no way of feeding themselves. Now, obviously, many of those were the newcomers that they put on food stamps, but you can bet a lot of other people found out about the scam and said, yeah, I don't got to work. No. They're going to give me money? Yeah. 40% more. 40. It's mind-boggling. It's almost half the country. 42 million people are on food stamps. 42 million. There's 300 million in the country. So that's roughly about 15% of everybody in the country is working and getting fed on your money. And we're supposed to just shut up and take it.
Not 100% sure, but we're rolling it back now. On day one, back in February, for me, we sent a letter to every governor saying, send us your SNAP data. All of this money that the federal government, the taxpayers are paying for food stamps, we don't even know where it goes, what happens, what they're doing with it. And we said no more. So 29 states complied and 20 plus others did not. And we're suing. We're in a litigation right now.
Imagine the Secretary of Agriculture having to go on television and say, I have no idea where this money's going. Well, how about we eviscerate one rule in the government? Just go ahead and cancel that rule being, it's too late for you and me. But that rule being, stop taking, you notice you never hear a Republican or Democrat ever talk about repealing this. And what I'm talking about is the payroll tax. Or payroll, withdrawal. Neither side says, we shouldn't take money automatically on people's paychecks anymore. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to send you an invoice on April 15th. And then, you have to pay that. What the hell do you think would happen if that were to happen? Well, first of all, they wouldn't be able to fine half the people. Like, oh, you're going to say, yeah, I live at 123 Elm Street. Gone. But because that law got put in place where they automatically take it out of your paycheck, they got you. It's funny, I was talking to Ashley. Many of you guys know she is a former teacher. And she was talking about that in one of her classes. And one of the students stood up and said, I don't pay taxes. They don't ask me for any money. And Ashley said, do you have one of your paychecks you can show us, even on your phone or something? And she goes, I'm not going to show it unless you okay it. And the girl said, yeah, you can put it on the screen, the overhead projector. And she had to show these kids on a check a certain little box that says FICA. And she goes, you don't have to ask. They're taking it out of your paycheck whether you know it or not. So when you go to work and they tell you you're making $15 an hour, it's $15 an hour less this, and this. They didn't know. Nobody tells these kids. Nobody told me. Probably nobody told you. Remember the first time you opened your paycheck and went, hey, that doesn't add up. There's money missing. There's no class for that. Hey, go get a job. You're going to make $7 or $8 an hour like back then. And if you work, 10 hours a week as part-time, you're going to make $70 or $80. Mom, this is short. See, the kids don't even know it. So you want to start somewhere? That would be an awesome rule to repeal, but they never will. They never will repeal that. They don't even discuss it. It's not an option. Send me a bill on April 15th. So she's saying, and just told Laura, we don't even know who the hell's getting this money. We don't know where it went. Well, and then we have to sue most of the states for them to even tell us. Why would you not communicate that with the federal government? Why would you withhold the data as to where you're sending these SNAP benefits and to whom and how much? Why would that possibly be something you want to keep close to your chest? There's only one answer for that.
But of the 29 that complied, what we have found is staggering. 500,000 people getting benefits 2 times under the same name. 5,000 dead people. 80% of the able-bodied Americans, meaning they can work, they don't have small children at home, they're not taking care of an elderly parent, they can work and they choose not to work. Of course,
it's a choice. See, that's the other thing. So many of them are making a choice. How the hell are you making a choice not to be productive in society? How did we even get to that mentality where it's like, no, I'm just going to stay home. I'm going to eat bonbons and Cheetos and not do anything. I have no motivation whatsoever. I got to get my nails done. Got to get my hair done. But other than that, I'm not doing anything. And I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to do that one thing a lot so that I can have more of the little knuckleheads running around so I get paid more. See, I can do that for free. They figured that part out.
Because they're getting significant benefits from the taxpayer. So this light, Laura, that has now been shined on what is perhaps one of the most corrupt, dysfunctional programs in American history, that we are working now. Very big announcements coming next week on this. We are cracking down. We now have a plan to fix it. And we're really, really excited about doing that for the American people.
So this has been going.
And again, I swear sometimes, I'm like, Laura, did she just give you a hint? So I'm going to show you what the plan she is in a second here, but I'm surprised Laura she just dropped a hint. Oh, we got something coming next week for you. You going to ask, you want to know, Laura? Well, let me go on to my next.
Me.
Yeah, it's staggering and so discouraging. If you're a taxpayer and you're working hard every day and you're paying your taxes, and then you look and you see these stories of this fraud of people charging more than once. We found one guy in 6 states who was collecting in 6 different states under the same number. But
how? That's a criminal enterprise. That's a RICO charge. How are you collecting? I know, because it goes through different cards, and I guess you go to a mail drop, so you're walking around with 6 EBT cards? Wow, what a scam.
Again, if we hadn't asked for this data, and by the way, Laura, these are the red states that turn their data over. It is the blue states we're still trying to get data on. Can you imagine if this fraud is happening in the red states, what's happening in the blue states?
What are they hiding?
What are they hiding? I think they're buying their votes. They're trying to push as much of our taxpayer dollars into certain segments of the society in order to say, hey, we're here to help you. We're going to give you a lot of free stuff.
Dependency.
So vote for us. And it's dependency. Under President Trump, more jobs, better jobs. The economy is growing. We've got better take-home pay for the first time in at least 4 years, maybe more. Costs are coming down. And now it's time to get serious about these government programs, move people from welfare to work, and fundamentally change the trajectory of this country.
And illegal aliens should not be getting food stamps paid for by the American taxpayers. So I know that's
100%.
something you guys are working on as well.
Top of the priority list. That's
Fantastic.
right. And it's already illegal, but now we got to make sure that that's being implemented.
All right, so she goes through that interview with Laura Ingraham, and she tells her that we're about to do something to fix this. We have a plan. So now she's on, I forget, this is Rob Schmidt, I think, on Newsmax, and she drops what the plan is. And when you hear what the plan is, you can already hear the libnut heads exploding. You can almost envision, if you close your eyes, that to see Hakeem Jeffries literally have an implosion. His head will explode. Listen to what she's going to do. And the Democrats, I guess they didn't realize this was going to happen, and they're probably going to sue like immediately.
Day one, when I was sworn in, which was earlier this year in February, the very first thing I did was send letters to every single state in America and said, never before has the federal government asked for the data, but it is a new day. President Trump is the president. We know there's a lot of fraud. We need to help partner with you all to figure out how to make sure that this money and these benefits go to those who truly need it and not rife with fraud and corruption. 29 states, mostly the red states, responded with their data sets February, March, April. So the numbers that you're talking through, those are numbers that we have been collecting and analyzing since early summer, late spring. The fact that this spotlight shined on SNAP has allowed us to talk about it. But here's the most unbelievable news I have really just over the last few days, that 5,000 dead people, that was just 1 month. The number is closer to 186,000 deceased men and women and children in
186,000 dead people. That is a so far. She hasn't gotten the data from the blue states. So just what she knows thus far, 186,000 dead people have been getting food stamps. The second part of that question she should have said is, which she probably doesn't know, is for how long? How long have 186,000 dead people been getting food stamps? Third question, over that 186,000 people, what is the amount per month that they've been getting? Because now if I know it's 186,000 so far, and I know they're getting their payments added up, and now just multiply times how long have they been getting it. Then the next thing is, who's been using it? Who is going into the store and using these EBT cards? 186,000 dead people. It's about to be Thanksgiving. And right now, there are people who actually need food. I've been to food banks. And you're telling me, so far, you know of 186,000 people who've been fraudulently using the food stamp program. And the Democrats don't have any problem with it whatsoever.
this country are receiving a check. Now, that is what we're really going to start clamping down on. 500,000 are getting 2. But here's the really stunning thing. This is just data from those 29 mostly red states. Can you imagine when we get our hands on the blue state data, what we're going to find? I
bet you California has 186,000 by itself. I bet you California may have 300,000 by itself.
So here's an idea. Let them sue you. If they don't give you the data, they don't get any money. Sorry. Hey, don't blame me. Don't blame me if I'm her. I'll be telling, we're not the ones who are holding this up. We asked the state of California, give us the rolls. Show us who these people are. Which I don't understand is because what that means is, because some of you guys were thinking, well, don't they know who they're giving the money to? No. They give the money to the state. The state then distributes the money. So once that gazillion dollars landed in Gavin Newsom's account every single month, he decides, or someone who runs the food stamp program, where and how many of these people get it. So we've got to stop giving this money to the states. Somehow we've got to fix that. And she's got an idea, which I think is an amazing idea.
It's going to give us a platform and a trajectory to fundamentally rebuild this program, have everyone reapply for their benefit, make sure that everyone that's taking a taxpayer-funded benefit through SNAP or food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable and they can't survive without it. And that's the next step here.
All right, so the next step, which is going to be met with lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit all across the country, and President Trump should tell them no funds go out until the lawsuit gets done, is every single one of you have to go back in personally. None of this stuff over online. Personally. Oh, it's going to make them, de-enfranchise people. They can't get there. If you want food, you're going to get there. We need to see you show up in the office and reapply, which means bring an ID. Wink, wink, wink. You see where this is going. You want food, you have to prove that you're, number one, you can't work or you're infirmed, and if you're able-bodied, guess what? You're not getting it. But either way, you got to show us who you are. So the Democrats are going to be put into a catch-22 situation here. They want these people to have food. There's going to be no law. There's going to be no court ruling that would be upheld that said they don't have to reapply. We're not saying you don't get it. We don't even know. We won't know till you reapply. And so you can't sue. I'm not withholding the money. I'm telling you, go in the office, get your ID, let me see who you are. Bingo. Voter ID. It's genius. It is absolutely genius. You want to eat? Come on in. Tell us your address, your phone number. Let's see your ID. Prove to us that you are who you are. Well, I don't have an ID. Well, you're not eating. We're not going to pay for you just to have free food on American expense when you can't even prove you're supposed to be here in the country or anything else. That's why I keep telling the panicans. I keep telling the panicans over and over. I'm going to stop telling them. You can't. Don't talk to me about what the polls say right now. Is there anything in your polls that show what happens if or when all this fraud gets exposed? Anything? Are you even asked the question? Hey, well, what are you going to do when you find out that California's been giving food for free of your tax money for 300,000 dead people? And President Trump is the one that exposed it. You're going to still vote Democrat? That's why these polls and the pollsters are useless, because they don't even know what questions are coming up. She just said that. I think it was yesterday. And I'm sure they're not asking that. Hey, what happens if President Trump saves $1 gazillion of your tax money? You going to feel different about it? Of course. Of course. Who was it? What's his name? Mark Sawyer. Tom Sawyer. Samuel Clemens. Statistics. They're damn lies. So pollsters make their living on lies because it's all based upon the question you ask. It doesn't go any data on the questions you're not asking. And so I'm going to have Mark Mitchell on the show if he comes on. And I just want to, hey, I don't want to know the questions you asked. I want to know the questions you didn't ask. I want to know why you haven't asked, well, you know what? If this happens, what are you going to do?
I want to know who you're asking. I never been called. 65 years old, never have I taken a poll. So perhaps the entire polling industry is screwed up because it's asking questions that you want the answers to, and there's no crystal ball to the future. And with this guy, we have seen things happen fast. So if she's going to go out and get ID, how about asking that? What about would you like to see people have to reapply and verify their identity in order to get food stamps? And you set that up. You believe food stamps should be given to people who can't work, for people who have physical infirmities, for people who have mental problems. Do you believe that? Yeah, of course. Second question, how long? What do you mean? How long should they be given it? Well, if you're disabled, yeah, we got to feed you. We got to make sure. Okay. And for the other people, are you okay with them having to reapply to make sure everything is still the same? You applied in 2022 and you had a bad knee or something. Reapply. You're still sick? Yeah, I think people should reapply. Now, those part of the reapplication process, do you agree that they should have to show their ID and prove who they are? See, it's all about asking the questions and the lead up to the questions. And so you can report right now, young people are pissed off at Trump. Oh, it's so bad. They don't like boomers anymore. Well, you're not asking them the right questions because you don't even know what's coming. 186,000 dead people so far. What do people think about 186,000 dead people getting food stamps? Nope, never been polled. Not me either. Recertification asks for updated information. It's an inside job. Yeah, where have you gone to apply in the past? What was your initial reason for applying? See, that's a good question. What was your initial reason for applying and getting approved? Well, I lost my job. I got in a car accident, hurt my back. Okay. What happened? I've been in a car accident. Many of you have been in a car accident. I had to get therapy. I hurt my back. It still hurts from sitting and stuff. Make you inviable? You can't do anything? Well, you know what? We're going to set you up with a job training program. You know what? We're going to put you on food stamps for the next 12 to 18 months. Well, guess what? You're going to learn how to be a mechanic. You're going to go to mechanic school. And if you don't go, then we're going to withdraw your benefits. You're not just going to sit home. Or even better, we're going to send you into commercial truck driving school. And within a year, you're going to be able to have a good income. That's our deal right now. Hey, pollsters, what happens if people are given a work requirement? Yeah, and that's just in the red states. Just in the red states. Once they start getting into Chicago, Illinois, and California, it's going to be, can't even imagine. Yeah, that's another thing. Every 6 months you need to reply. I have a bad back, and in that same accident, Robin had a bad back, and she has a, a handicap sticker that she can use to park. And she used to have a permanent one, and it expired. And now, because she's gotten better, she goes to the orthopedic surgeon, and he's like, I can't give you that one anymore. Why not? Because I examined you, and it ain't that bad no more. So we're going to give you this one. Well, how come she can't get her permanent handicap sticker or disabled parking sticker, but you can keep getting food stamps? Because when you go to get that, the DMV wants to know, can you walk? Can you get to where you need to get to? You don't need that no more. See, people who live lives understand you have to get recertified for things. Those of you who are my age or even older, when your driver's license expires, what do you got to do? You got to go back in. They got to look in a little thing, FLGJ. No, I mean, that's an I. No, look, ooh, L. You got to pass a vision test. You have to prove that you can still drive. Why is it not like that with food stamps? How come you just rubber stamp it? I have a permanent one for my son. Yeah, you're lucky. Well, not lucky, but you know what I mean. Old women who shouldn't be shouldn't be driving have them. Yeah, absolutely. But you get them. Let's see. I have a handicap sticker for my disability. I don't know what state you are. Down here, they're blue and red. The red one gets you temporary. And it's so funny. We have Miami Dolphins season tickets, and they give you a tag that you have to put on your windshield that gets you into the certain parking lot that you're going, and then you have to have the handicap sticker to go with it. But then they require their own handicap sticker on top of that to prove that you're able to traverse your way and do things. One of my neighbors owns their own home. Went to the store. She pulled out an EBT card out to pay a $100 bill to pay what the EBT didn't cover. I'm on oxygen 24/7. I can't walk more than 20 feet. God bless you, Charlene. And yes, you would then deserve it for sure. I think for I think for license renewal, you'd have to take an actual driving test. Well, you'd have half the state of South Florida failing that. I mean, you come down here and drive, if you're not from South Florida, you best keep your eyes open, because there's some people down here that went to high school with Moses, and you're like, hey, you stay in your lane over here, or they make a right turn from the left lane, or just stop in the highway. Stop in the highway. There's some crazy driving down here with people like that. Let's see here. You have to have completed so many units of continuing education. Yeah, it should be that way. So yeah, you guys are getting what I'm saying here, and it's not something I believe is over and above what should be done with these food stamps. And I think you're about to see a war happen when she says you got to come back and reapply. Why would you have any problem with that? Watch, it's coming. All right, so let me go to the next segment.
We are talking about a CEO of a company who made $96 million just last year. $96 million, which is 6,666 times the median Starbucks worker's salary.
It has begun, people. It has begun. He's not even sworn in yet, and he's already starting the bull crap. I don't even know. I mean, let me look real quick to find this out. I should have asked, how many Starbucks locations are there? Starbucks. I want to say something. How many Starbucks just in the United States? There are 17,000 Starbucks just in the United States. So the CEO, who controls all of them, all 17,000 just in the United States, he makes $96 million. And what Mandami doesn't say is, well, we understand he oversees 17,000 stores, and his job is to make sure he shepherds the company. So what? So the stockholders actually make profit. Well, it's obscene that somebody makes $96 million. Well, why is it obscene? You're overseeing a 17,000 store empire just in the United States. You have to keep the cash registers running 365 on all 17,000 stores. But that doesn't matter to these people.
That's the kind of disparity that we are seeing here. And what these workers are asking for is the bare minimum. They are asking for a salary that they can actually live off of.
Let me think. No, I never ever worked in fast food. However, I did work at a 7-Eleven for about 5 hours. And I worked at 7-Eleven for 5 hours, and until they told me you can't sit down. What do you mean? You have to stand up your whole shift. Here you go. But that was my choice. I didn't go out and pick it and say I deserve to be here and be able to sit while I'm at 7-Eleven. You're a big old football player. You can't stand for 8 hours? No, I don't feel like it. These people think they deserve this. When I grew up and when you grew up, more than likely fast food was a side job while you're in high school, maybe early in college, and it was not going to be that last stop on the highway. It's not supposed to be a career choice with this whole living wage crap. Because what they're saying is, we're done, we've checked out, this is it. This is the highest on the ladder we expect to go to. Maybe I'll move from the syrup machine to making donuts. But I'm it. This is it. I need a living wage. And these people it's over for them. And so you imagine being a person hiring these people. I would check your social media. I would check your TikTok. I want to know what you're all about. Now this guy is showing up to give Starbucks a hard time.
They are asking for hours they can actually build their life around. They are asking for the violations of labor law to finally be resolved. And they deserve a city that has their back. And I am here to say that that is what New York City will be.
So if you plan on visiting New York City, I would venture to do it very soon. Because if this is the kind of city that he's going to promote, where people get to pay whatever and they get to complain and they get to unionize and they get to do all this stuff because they make coffee. When I say make coffee, I'm not like Juan Valdez in the jungle. They're sticking beans into a thing and pulling down the roaster, and they're basically letting the water heat up. And they deserve a living wage. For a job a robot is probably going to do within the next 24 to 36 months.
My message to Starbucks management is that I stand here today to practice with these workers, and if you force these workers to go on strike, then I will be there with them on that strike as well.
So I want you to realize New York is the biggest city in the country. 8.5 million people, crime, all kinds of things happening. And the mayor's first real official duty that he's saying is, I'm going to be standing with people who make coffee in a fast food joint. That's my priority. All the other things in the city, that's what he wants. Listen to these nuts.
No cost of vacant land.
What do we want?
The contract.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
The contract.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
The contract.
When do we want?
We need to be paid more. It's ridiculous, like what we have to go
through. Poor child. It's ridiculous what we have to go through. What do you have to, oh, you got to wear a green apron. Ooh, wow, that's hard. And then what? Well, we got to put the water in the machine, and then we got to grind these beans. There's a bean. Are you doing it? No, there's a bean grinding machine, and we pour the beans in top, and then we click the button, and hot stuff comes out. These kids don't even, I mean, you can tell she's a zombie. Look at her face right there. She has no idea what she's talking about. We deserve more. When a monkey can do your job, when you can be replaced like that, there is no security in a job where you're just clicking a button. She says she deserves more.
As workers, we're telling Starbucks that they need to invest in us and they need to come back to the bargaining table so we can get a contract and we can be back at work.
Why would I go to back to the table? What table? What table are you talking about? I gave you a job to come in here and pour coffee and sweep the floor, and you formed a union, and you're telling me I got to come back and negotiate with you? What are we negotiating? A better broom? Do you realize there's a whole bunch of people over here who take your job tomorrow? I think. Maybe these kids, I don't know. I'm just saying you're stunned. You're telling a company, a huge company with 15, 18, 30,000 stores across the world, you need to come and negotiate with us. You sound like the Democrats. We ain't got to do crap. I ain't got to negotiate with you. In fact, screw off. At this point, what Starbucks needs to do is they need to have a shareholders meeting and say, we're going to take a hit for about 20 days. We're going to have a problem here. We're shutting all these stores down until we can retool and get as much robotics in here as possible. And then we'll never have to worry about these nuts ever again. I drove by the local Starbucks here. I don't patronize it. I drove by it. Packed. They're on their own. Shut the store. Screw them. Now I know why the guy posted on X that hey, 32, he had no place to go. That's it. I've reached the end of my line. I need Starbucks to give me a living wage. I need Starbucks to bail me out of life. Yeah, she's not a coffee maker. She's a barista. A barista. Oh God. Oh man, are they picketing while on the clock? That's a it's not their business. They don't own it, so they have no say in it. Get another job. Okay. I see this stuff and I'm thinking it's Friday night. Now is a good time to just to show you guys some stuff that you normally wouldn't see in the news. So this next cut, you may have seen it, but I'm apologize in advance. Being a black person, black man, black mother, well, she was mixed. My sisters. I've been around a lot of black women on both sides of my family, and I'm apologizing in advance for what I'm about to show you. The worst part about this is that this is from a former First Lady. If there's anybody who reached the apex of a black woman, it would be, well, hopefully, a black woman, Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama should be showing by example how to lead a life, and she won't shut up.
Worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim.
Okay, did you follow that? Okay, there's a couple things wrong with what she just said there. One, why are you following white people in terms of straightening your hair? If you got kinky hair, I got kinky hair, why not wear your kinky hair? Because most guys don't like it. So it's not white people forcing you to straighten your hair. Other guys are like, look at her. She's got some good, ooh. Not every guy. Okay. So you're saying the reason why you straightened your hair as you're sitting there with straight hair, the reason why your hair looks like that, because it's white people's fault. You didn't get the comb and the Jerry curl stuff and do all that yourself. The white people made you do it. You're formerly the First Lady of the United States. You're POTUS, what do they call it? FLOTUS. You were the former FLOTUS, and you're telling me that your white staffers made you straighten your hair. And then they told you you can't swim. What world are we in? What is she talking about? You are the apex animal of black women. You are the probably, arguably, other than Oprah, one of the most accomplished, undeserving black women on the planet. And you're saying, I wear my hair this way because white people make me, and I can't swim because white people won't let me wear my hair the way I want to. Ma'am, Who's stopping you from showing up the kinky hair? Barack? What? If you want to let it be all curled and nappy-headed, who's stopping you? Don Imus, I think Don Imus is dead. He ain't going to call you a nappy-headed hoe. So who's stopping you from letting your nappy-headed stuff happen? The white people?
And we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all.
She got this on camera. You white people are making her keep her hair straight. She can't even go to the gym. She can't go to the gym because the white people are making her straighten her hair. No, I don't want to see. I was going to say, I want to see it wake up in the morning with the kinky stuff, and I want to see white people come in and tie her down and make her straighten her hair because she's like, they're forcing me to straighten my hair.
It is exhausting, and it's so expensive, and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why?
Now you know why these kids say they're done at 31, 32. When the former First Lady of the United States is out on a stage and people are hooting and hollering, you tell them, girl, you go, girl, we can't even use our hair because we got to look white. Just like I said to that guy, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it that you ain't got a job or you feel empty? Whose fault is it that the former First Lady of the United States is telling me, it takes me so much time to put my fake stuff on and put the weave on and straighten it out with the curling iron. It's hot too, by the way. I don't know if you ever held on to a curling iron or a straightening comb or whatever they use. And I got to put all that juice up in here. I got to rub that in so when I bring in that straightening comb, it straightens all out. Who's telling you got to do it? And you got these women clapping, and I'm like, wait a second, I must have missed that. I grew up with a whole bunch of black women, and some had straightened hair, some didn't. It was a choice. They weren't forced. They didn't walk outside, oh, there's white people out there with straight hair. Oh my God, I got to go back inside and put all that goop in my hair. Said no one ever. And on top of that, one of Robin's favorite shows is Below Deck, and it's about the cruise ships that people rent and they go out on the Mediterranean and everything. And I sat down with her last night and I was watching a show, and it was a black charter. And there was like 4 or 5 people. So part of the charter on this boat, they roll out the slide and people can slide down it and everything. And I sat down with dinner. I'm like, well, they ain't got to worry about that. Ain't nobody sliding down there and underwater. She started cracking up, and little did I know, the former First Lady would say the same thing. I can't get in the water. Who's stopping you?
Why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't. It just spoke.
Yeah, she actually said this. And so I would just like to apologize for what she's saying, because I feel bad that she feels some of you, probably the ladies or the men, have forced her into straightening her hair. Can you imagine a life you must live when you've got $30, $40 million in a house up on the Hamptons or Cape Cod or Hawaii? You're flying all over the world in private jets, and the one thing that you don't control is your hair, because the white people, regardless of your status in this country, the white people are just driving you crazy because they're making you straighten your hair. How pretentious is this witch? I mean, seriously.
To the high end of Chicago, and to access those places and not be accused of stealing, you realize very early on that you better let them hear you talk, or, come in with the right LASAC case, or else you would be watched. And, so I think I learned then that how you show up, especially when it comes to white folks looking at young black kids, that how you present can sometimes save your life.
Again, just to remind you, in case you forgot, this woman has achieved Mount Everest of blackdom. She was the former First Lady of the United States. Her husband was the President of the United States. And she's telling black people in the audience, watch out for white people, because if you don't act a certain way, they're going to kill you. And I'm thinking to myself, how disgusting is this? How disgusting is it in 2025 to be re-echoing this crazy trope? To say that if you go in a mall, watch out, they're going to be looking for you. You might get killed. I don't know, I'm a big-ass target. I'm black, kind of darker, lighter complexion. I'm 65, but as of today, that I know of, nobody has ever followed me in a mall. And obviously, nobody's ever taken me out. Nobody has said, hey, where you going? You can't go there. No, I didn't need a life lesson from my mother or father. Hey, listen, you understand, you don't act this way because if they feel terrified of you, they may kill. No, I never had that conversation because I was taught at a younger age, don't be a knucklehead. Respect people. A police officer has a question, answer the question. Your teacher has a question, answer the question. Don't let them call me. Don't let me get a phone call from some teacher or some person in authority and say, yeah, your son's acting up. I never had to have the talk because I was raised correctly. In all the crazy stuff I ever did, all the different things in my life where I went astray, nobody ever told me, be careful because the cops, they might pull you over and some white people might shoot you. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. Don't go over there at night. You don't want to go up in there at night because if you go up in there at night, please don't. I don't want to get a phone call where I find out you're full of lead because, Leroy and Boo Boo popped you. Don't drive in there. Don't go there. Isn't that odd? That was the talk I got. I never got a talk and said, white people gonna light you up. I was told, do not drive the car into that neighborhood once it gets dark. I don't even want you driving that neighborhood when it gets light. How sad is that? How sad is the complete flip of what she just said? Nobody ever in my life said, don't go here because there's white people. And maybe I'm different because I went to a white prep school, and obviously when I went to school, it was a predominantly white college at that point. I think it was like 8% black. Then I joined a white fraternity I was the first black guy. So I was always around. I felt comfortable. But I never had anyone say, if you join a fraternity, you got to watch out. One of them might shoot you. No, the only thing they shoot me was with a beer bazooka. You guys remember those? You get those big giant super soakers and fill them with beer and shoot at people. She's cray-cray. She's nuts.
So yeah, I think I was learning that all throughout my youth.
That's an interesting
I was learning that throughout my youth. Is the last thing I cut it. And I think to myself, I feel bad for you. I feel very bad for you if your parents had to keep telling you to watch out for white people. I remember when I was growing up, I got in a fight with a Spanish gang member. And one day they came, there's like 20 guys sitting outside of the house. Back then it was chains and pipes and stuff like that. It wasn't guns. And I was like, okay, let's go. But let's go because maybe a couple of you might get me, but I'm going to take a few of you with me. No, nobody said watch out for these type of people. It's embarrassing that Michelle Obama would say that. And like somebody said in the comments, she's playing to her audience. That's even sadder. You see, if I want to go see a president speak, I want him to, or a first lady, I want them to fill me with aspiration. I want them to motivate me. I want them to give me ambition. Tell me, hey, what did you do when you did this? How did you get here? I'm not paying to come in here and have you talk about your freaking hair. It's embarrassing. But this is what Democrats do. They keep people in the dark, covered in BS. And that's how they live their lives. I'll be right back.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Some not so good news when it comes to the housing industry. Unfortunately, foreclosures are on the rise.
Justin, foreclosures climbed again in October, signaling possible cracks in the housing market. So new data by property analytics firm Adams shows a 3% rise in filings last month, which is also a 19% jump year over year. It also marks the 8th straight month of annual increases. Now, recent housing market data shows national prices easing slightly, but still high overall. Mortgage rates expected to fall more sharply after the Fed's recent rate cuts remain within a percentage point of recent highs. Experts say these factors may keep many people from buying or refinancing. Adams CEO predicts foreclosures will keep climbing for the foreseeable future.
I'm only bringing it up. I'm only bringing it up so you guys can understand what's happening. I'm not going to dwell on it. Too many people don't like me talking about real estate, so I'm just not going to be bringing it up whatsoever. I started talking about it last night, and even today, I had some things posted where I wanted to show you, but I decided to pull it out because people are getting upset. So today, my only reason for just bringing it up right now is that it's actually getting worse. And a lot of people don't seem to want to understand what's about to happen. And I had posted some things on my profile today, and this just isn't real estate related. Hold on, let me pull this up here. Hold on. Where are we? Where's my thing here? Hold on one second. Here's my profile. All right, so I showed a couple things today that I just want to bring to your attention if you haven't seen it. This kind of stuff is really important that I want you to take a look at, only for data purposes. I'm not going to go into real estate investing. I don't want people to get all pissed off. I want to give you this because I talked so much about the hurricanes out in the ocean and understanding what's happening. I talked to you last night about the vital signs. So I want to show you this. This data came out today. 875,000 mortgage holders now owe more on their homes than their homes are worth. The biggest rate in 3 years, according to a new report from Intercontinental Exchange. So close to 1 million people are upside down. They're completely upside down right now in regards to their mortgages. Don't leave that out there.
just let you dwell on if you're a nurse or a nurse practitioner or a doctor, and I told you yesterday about checking the vital signs. You're going to check the pulse, the sat rate, the checking your heart and all that different things, the EKG. And now you're looking at vital signs that are showing the market is somewhat in trouble. Earlier, I posted this, and people got all ticked off about this. U.S. consumers are defaulting at a crisis pace. Student loan serious 90-plus days of delinquency exploded to 14.3% in third quarter of 2025. Look at that. That's devastating. Again, it's a vital sign. It's a sign that something is seriously wrong. We got the most foreclosures in like 10 years. We got the most seriously delinquent people in student loan. And the reason why there's a big spike and why there's a flat line there is because that's when Biden wasn't enforcing it. So it was high, then it dropped. It didn't drop because there were no delinquencies. It dropped because they were no longer checking it. They were no longer going to see what was going on. And now that they're enforcing it again, immediately it spiked. So I got a question for you. Okay, before I get to that question, this is a big question. Now we're going to look at this vital sign. Serious credit card delinquencies, unpaid balances for at least 90 days are at their highest level in 14 years. 14 years, the highest level of credit card delinquencies. So you tell me, Benny, if people can't pay their student loans, if they've already shown that they can't pay their student loans, if people are already at the highest level in years of not being able to pay their credit cards, you got those two things, right? And then on top of all that, I didn't put it, but car sales, car loans are at their arguably highest level in 10 years. So people aren't paying their car loans. People aren't paying credit cards. Mortgages are defaulting at record pace. And are we really talking, and student loans, are we really talking about giving easy mortgages to people who are unqualified? That's a recipe for disaster. I'm not going to go into it deeply because I don't want people all ticked off and saying Barry's talking about real estate. I'll save that for another day. But I just want you as an adult to say, listen, I see what's happening. I can see all the stuff that's happening, and we need to do something about it. That's all I'm going to say. Before we go, I think I have something saved up. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second to try and locate. I had a video set up. Hopefully this thing actually went ahead and rendered before the show. But give me a second. I might have to go look for this because I don't see it in my dashboard. So give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
Somewhere to be every night of the week. Seems God ain't close as he used to be. And there's more tequila in this old town than pines in Tennessee. I ain't the man I thought I'd be. And these neon lights that keep me up got me thinking maybe mom and dad had it right all along. We're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, living in our hometown. like the Mississippi. You find a girl and get married before you're 20. I've been running like a southbound train, as fast as a northern summer, but no one to love. And it's making me wonder if maybe mom and dad had it right all along, and we're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. No, I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, living in our hometown.
All right, I found it. I put it in the wrong folder. Let's go ahead and finish off with you'll have fun with this.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
Spoiler alert for you. There will be allegations next week against somebody that'll be false. No, the Justice Department has not said anything just through leaked media reporting. But this is really about Donald Trump going after his political enemies. And no one has been a more vocal critic than me.
Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell is eyeing a new gig, governor of California. According to sources familiar who were granted anonymity by MSNBC to speak freely, Swalwell has all but decided to trade in his decade in Congress for a seat in Sacramento, the big seat out there. The news could be made official as soon as next week. If so, it will come as multiple outlets report the Trump administration referred Swalwell for a federal criminal investigation.
Oh, this guy's gonna run for California governor. Why not? Why not? We got a communist in New York, so we might as well let Eric Swalwell run one of the biggest states in the country. Sure, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, it doesn't matter if he was hanging out and sleeping with Chinese spies. It doesn't matter what he's done if he's going to fart in press conferences. Sure. Can you believe that? This guy's about to be indicted. And today, I guess to try and smooth out the waters, he decides he's going to tell everybody that he is going to be running. He's going to be running for governor. Oh, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Oh, yes, somebody asked me about the silver drawings. You are correct. I said I was going to give out 3 of these today, so I shall. But that is completely, that's crazy. That's cuckoo stuff crazy. Let's go.
Number 9.
Some of the words that here in New York we heard a lot from the mayor-elect here, Zohran Mamdani, right? When you talk about affordability, but the word echoes don't end there, Mayor-elect. Let me play some of them.
The very clear twin crises of affordability.
We are facing an affordability crisis.
Truly affordable homes.
An affordable home ownership.
This city is your city.
This isn't their city, it's yours.
A new generation of leadership.
We can see with our own eyes that we need new leadership.
I mean, we sometimes will put what we call a montage together like that, Mayor-elect. It doesn't get easier than that one. I mean, it really does sound, you sound so much alike.
She sounds so much alike because she's another socialist. We're having a problem. These socialist, communist, Marxists are sprouting up in these cities, and they're getting support. And they're getting support from these kids who, like the other guy, I'm 32 years old, I have no hope. And because I have no hope, I want everything given to me. And these people are talking to them in a way that they understand because they know these people are complete idiots. And so and now what we're seeing is the media is warming up to them. Instead of just completely destroying them and saying, we can't have this in our country, they are supporting this insanity.
I guess I'm just curious, have you ever met him? Have you talked to each other at all since either of your victories, which are so important on coast to coast?
Not yet, although I certainly hope to. And it's funny because when I decided to run in this race, which was in February of this year, I'd never heard of Zohran Mamdani, and so it was a fun process over the first few months of my campaign to start getting text messages from friends.
You see, one of the problems I'm having is as you look at this woman and you realize what they're running are outsiders.
outliers, not outsiders, outliers, people who would probably never pay her attention. What has happened with the available pool of people who want to be leaders in this country? They're abdicating completely and allowing this to happen. I've said that before with the whole New York race. You're telling me in a city of 8 million people, the best you could find was Mondami, Cuomo, and Sliwa? That's it? Those are the top 3 candidates you could find in the city of New York? And now they're doing it again in Seattle, and she got in? I mean, what is going on? Why are there no viable candidates? As long as people sit by the sideline and go, no, we don't need to do that, we'll let someone else get in charge, then the more this is going to occur, even maybe somewhere close to where you live.
You got to check out this guy in New York City. And so I really do think it's remarkable and also makes a lot of sense, right? I think that there are some similar conditions playing out here in Seattle to New York.
No, it doesn't make sense. Aaron Burnett nodded. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. Stop encouraging these people. So that's why I'm thinking, I don't like what people are saying about boomers, but if these kids really feel this way, if they feel there's absolutely no hope but to take your stuff, that you're the problem, that you shut the door, we got big problems.
Number 8.
So excited to announce that I will be formally bringing a proposal to establish a Democratic Socialist Caucus on the city council, and that I intend to lead it. And for us to get to work to advance and win a $20 minimum wage, key renter protections like rent control, and a city-owned grocery store.
It's spreading like a virus. I would almost say this socialism stuff is the 2025, 2026 jabademic. We are watching an epidemic, plandemic happen in this country. This woman could barely put sentences together. I'm going to give free rent and rent control. I'm like, what? You guys are letting this happen? I don't mean you, but people in these areas, they're letting this stuff happen. You're telling me all ambition and drive and initiative has been completely sucked out of these people to where they just want to be there like birds in a nest? That's not America.
Number 7.
We have a little man sitting in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
So she's about to insult Donald Trump. This woman is about to insult Donald Trump.
Who really believes that Hitler was the greatest man ever on earth. Whose whole vision is to be just like Hitler. And is trying to create a 1940s Germany right here in the United States. And like then, many people said, well, it's them, it's not me.
Wow. And what I noticed is the people in the background, just nobody says anything. Nobody stops and goes, you can't say this. This is off limits. Nope, anything at this point goes. And they're wondering why we're barreling towards this cliff. Where people can stand up at a podium and say he wants to be just like Adolf. And nobody questions him on it. Nobody says, hey, let me put this over the mic. You can't say that. Nope, nobody does that. They've completely lost it. Seriously lost it. I mean, now I'm not talking pejorative. I'm not saying that to denigrate anybody. No, I think it's official.
Number 6.
So no, I'm furious with the senators who decided to bail on us. There may be another opportunity in January when this CR expires, but I'm not sure this experience has stiffened their spine. They should worry more about the people they represent than the Republican speaker or the White House.
All right, so I told you, now it's starting to be talked about. Everything we just went through for the last 43 or 44 days, it's going to happen again. Mid-January, everything that they just fought for, everything that just happened, expires. They got to do it all over again. Personally, I don't think President Trump has the stomach for it. I think President Trump at this point, and especially if Chuck Schumer says he's not going to run for re-election, I think he's got to get John Thune in a room and say, we gave them one shot. We gave them one shot. It didn't work. We are not going to do this again. We are not going to shut down air traffic control. We are not going to stop food stamps unless, Brooke can get in there and figure out who they are. We're not going to make our military not get paid. It's not going to happen. So watch how this thing transpires. Many people don't know. Now you know. We're going to have to do the entirety of this thing all over again in less than 60 days. A CR is a continuing resolution. A CR is kicking the can down the road. Well, they only kicked it far enough to mid-January. That's it. And I don't know if you knew that, but that's it. And so these nuts and everything they're doing all over again in January. Are you ready for it? Again, I give this to you because of the same analogy I talk about with the hurricanes. You now know it's coming. You know it's coming. Don't get surprised when the government shuts down again.
Number 5.
Jonathan is in focus with me now. So first of all, identify it for us. You're in a session and you pick up on what?
Well, Harris, it doesn't take long for me to pick up on this. People are obsessed with Trump. They're fixated. They're hyper-fixated on Trump. And they talk about some of the features of this disorder. They can't sleep. They feel traumatized by Mr. Trump. They feel restless. I had one patient who said she couldn't enjoy a vacation because anytime she saw Trump in the news or on her device, she felt triggered.
Oh my gosh. We joked about TDS, but TDS is real. TDS, now doctors are actually calling it what it is. These people are crazy. They're afflicted. They can't eat. They can't sleep. I can't even go on vacation. If I see him, I see his name or it's on the news, I'm going to lose it. See, some of you guys thought they were saying this crazy stuff on TikTok and that was it. No, they're nuts. They are absolutely definable as nuts. TDS is now an official disease. Unfortunately, they're not being treated. And every time, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen in January if he says, you know what, we're done. We're going to go break the filibuster and do everything I want to do. See, none of the pollsters are talking about that. Not a single pollster is talking about, hey, what happens in January if we're right back here again? Nope, you're not asking that question. You're asking stupid questions to stupid people. And obviously, they got TDS.
So this is a profound pathology, and I would even go so far as to call it the defining pathology of our time.
These people come to you for the things that you described. Can't sleep, traumatized, perhaps depression. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But at first, you are there to treat an illness, a disorder of some kind. And what you figure out is the trigger.
Well, and Trump is the trigger for many of these people. And to be that fixated on a figure, on a person, it's simply not healthy. And our country has strayed so far away from where we once were. If you look at in the 80s when President Reagan was shot, people were united. He famously said, I hope you're all Republicans to the surgeons. And the response was, today, Mr. President, we're all Republicans. But our country has lost that. We've strayed so far from that unity.
Mm-hmm. And what do you see? Because you told me off camera 3/4 of your patient load right now has what you're calling this TDS.
Well, 3/4 of my patients will present with a lot of these symptoms, and within probably 5 minutes of seeing me, their hatred for Trump comes up. So if you're that hyper-focused on Trump, that's a real issue, and it's worth being treated.
We're in such trouble. I don't mean to alarm you, but this doctor just said 75% of his patients are over Trump. 75%. What? He must sit back and go, oh my God, this is real. This mania, this insanity, it's not fake. And the media is playing into it. And the Democrat politicians are playing into it. And now you've got MAGA playing into it, some people. These people are truly, truly sick. 75% of a doctor's patient load is nuts. Verifiable, bat poop, crazy. And so, yeah, you need to watch out when you walk around because you may have a bumper sticker. You may wear something they don't like. You might be a boomer. Now they're focusing and they're training their anger on us. I see it on X all over the place. That's one of the things I'm concerned about. They couldn't do anything to Trump. Now their lives are miserable. And now everybody out there is saying it's the boomers' fault. The boomers are doing this to us. They sit there with their 2 or 3 houses and their boats and all this other kind of stuff. And we should be taking it. We should be doing whatever we can to confiscate everything these crazy. I'm 32 and I got nothing to look forward to in life. Crazy. It's funny, but it's scary. We have indeed raised and cultivated a nation full of zombies. How did we get here? And it's only going to get worse. If you think it's bad now, buckle up if President pulls a switch. Buckle up if he hits those things and says we got to have voter ID. Buckle up if people don't get their food stamps. They're already nuts. Now they're just going to need something to set them off. So arm up.
Number 4.
California is pulling 17,000 migrant truckers from behind the wheel, revoking their commercial driver's licenses. This move follows harsh backlash from the Trump administration and comes weeks after that deadly semi-truck crash in Southern California involving a driver said to be in the United States illegally. Let's go to News Nation's Marcus Espinoza. More from New York. Marcus, could we see other states join in on this crackdown?
Hey, Alex, good morning. Yes, absolutely. But it's going to take some time for that to happen with the audits ordered by Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy delayed in the wake of that government shutdown. Right now, the Transportation Secretary is taking aim at California Governor Gavin Newsom, calling the state's decision to revoke thousands of licenses an admission they were granted to people living.
This is just the beginning, Sean Duffy says. Now that we've exposed their lies, 17,000 illegally issued trucking licenses are being revoked, and it's just the beginning. California must revoke every illegally issued CDL, or I will pull $160 million in federal funds. And these are the same people who aren't giving Brooke Rollins the information on the food stamps. So there's $160 million here, probably a couple billion in food stamps because they've been running a communist country out in California. Just think of that. 17,000 jobs just opened up. So earlier somebody said, hey, now we're looking at 22 just with those 2 stories, the 5,000 mechanics. And people are all pissed off about the H-1B stuff because President Trump said we don't have qualified people. And now I showed you what that lady said. $100,000 and I got to work 80 hours for $100,000? What are we supposed to do? Not build the cars? You saw it. I showed it to you. $100,000, $120,000, but you might have to work as many as 80 hours. I'm like, no, we ain't doing it. No, no, we ain't taking those jobs. I don't need to be working that much. Well, there's other people who will take your jobs. Now, I hope that there's some Americans who say, yeah, for $120,000, sign me up. Put me in a mechanics program. I hope there's some people who watch this show will tell their sons or even daughters, get in mechanic school. We're seeing where this is going. I hope somebody says, hey, Barney, yeah,
Go to CDL school. Go learn how to drive a big rig. There's 17,000 openings. And these people won't work. They don't want to work. They're not trained for, I want to work at Starbucks. I want more money. You want more money? How about you learn how to fix cars? How about you learn how to drive a truck? Nope. No, you want to make coffee. We're in big trouble.
In the country illegally. He's threatening to revoke $160 million in federal funding if California doesn't take these CDLs from every illegal immigrant. Meanwhile, the governor firing back by pointing out those work permits were issued by the federal government. His team says those licenses were revoked because they would have expired after those drivers' legal status in the United States runs out. The head of the American Trucking Association says, regardless, we need the safest people behind those 40-ton trucks.
We want stronger safety standards. We want entry-level driver training rules that are enforced. We want every driver to be able to speak and read English. We want.
It's sad that you actually have to say that. We want our drivers to be able to read and speak English. Duh! That should be the baseline. That should be the first thing. Can you read the rules of the road? No. What the hell am I giving you a license to drive a train on the road and you can't read? You can't speak it. I don't care if you're from another country and you're bilingual, but if you're not, if you can't speak our language, if you can't read the signs, hey, Bakersfield. I don't know what that said. I'm just going to keep going. Oh, my gosh.
Make certain that all drivers are clean from alcohol and drugs. The basic fundamentals that should exist in all 50 states.
Now, Alex, this issue really garnered national attention over the summer when a truck made an illegal U-turn on a Florida highway, killing 3 people. The driver, who was in the U.S. illegally, is now facing vehicular homicide charges. Last month, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced that during Operation Midway Blitz, Indiana State Police arrested more than 40 illegal immigrants who had been issued commercial driver's license. Illinois, California, and New York were the top states where those licenses were issued. So, Alex, certainly a lot of attention being paid onto this particular topic, but a bit of a delay because of that government shutdown.
Number 3.
We're heading into the holiday season where big trucks are going to be rolling. And you're going to be going 65, 70 miles an hour next to those trucks. And your only hope, your only life-saving attribute is that the person driving this huge truck, this train on the road, understands what they're doing. My brother-in-law was a trucker. He drove what they call them, auto transports, where he would get to take cars back and forth all over the Northeast. And he would tell me some scary stories. And he's like, yeah, these people just don't know what they're doing. And this was way back before it's gotten so bad right now. So, yeah, we're in a bad way. You need to pray for people, especially this holiday season.
You're going to leave entirely, but you're definitely not going to add any more restaurants here under this new leadership. Why do you take such issue with the new mayor?
Currently, we had 3 leases ready to sign in October. Upper West Side, Upper East Side, and West Side Midtown, to expand Diner 24, because we were the first to bring back the 24-hour diner post-COVID. Because remember, all of them closed, and we brought back the 24-hour diner, and it really was such a success. We wanted to open 4 altogether just in the Manhattan area. But, when I start hearing uncertainty and I start hearing, defund the police and a lot of uncertainty in the small business areas of what I'm hearing this upcoming mayor campaigning on, we like clarity. We don't like guessing. So right now we're just like a sit back and wait and see if he can pass some of these things that he campaigned on, because we're not going to open businesses in that climate.
Especially a restaurant. A restaurant depends on, obviously, where he is. It depends on a lot of foot traffic. They expect people to be out and about, and you got to feel safe going out to go eat. Every single person, every single bad guy that's looking at people and trying to target them. They know if they see somebody go into a restaurant anywhere in the city, that person is probably going to have some money on them. And so you're telling people in advance, we're not going to send cops, or we want to defund cops. And so the bad guys can recognize that. They can see the marks. And then once you leave there, I mean, God forbid you take a subway or something, this could turn into a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. Instead of talking to this guy, he's over at Starbucks walking with morons.
So if not in New York City, where else might you open more business?
Well, we have 2 diner leases ready to go in Miami, where I am right now.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. It's so funny. I saw something on MSNBC today, and they had a couple realtors in New York saying, "Oh, it's not that bad. All these people aren't leaving." And I'm like, okay, so it's gotten to the point where they have to actually get people on and lie and counteract the fact that people are getting out of here. They're looking for spots down south here. And, this type of guy, he knows. It's not political, it's business. I'm looking at 2 locations in Miami. And he's there right now in Miami, down here, looking for locations for his restaurant while they're trying to, nothing to see here. Everything's okay, is what they're saying in New York.
And we have plenty of capital to expand because the business is doing so well, and I believe there is a need for a 24-hour diner. But when you get to that $20 price point, people don't, the politicians don't understand it because they never ran a lemonade stand. But when you raise minimum wage to $30, at that point, that $12 hamburger becomes $22. And it's not going to work when you're in the fast casual business where the average ticket is $15 to $24 a person. That's basically a nail in the coffin. You're out of business. And all I say to the mayor, upcoming mayor, is, and actually he's quite impressive for a 33-year-old, but he's never run a business.
See, that's another problem. And when they're talking about the millennials or whoever are going to overtake the boomers, let me give you a stat. Scary. Only 14% of millennials and what's the other one? Gen Z. Only 14% have ever owned or managed or run a business. Only 14%. Meanwhile, nearly 50% of boomers have either run or operated a business. So why would you be thinking that you're going to take over the world when none, very small percentage of them, have any experience in running a business? It's a recipe for disaster. Just like this gentleman said, they've never done anything. They've never ordered inventory. They've never had to have things delivered. They've never had to understand the labor pool. And now they're out there saying, oh, we're going to take over and take stuff from the boomers. You obviously don't understand how boomers are equipped. It's a non-starter. And you got people even on the right trying to promote that these kids are the future. Well, they could be, but they ain't there right now. I'm not going to go into real estate. Not going to do it.
Never run a small business. And to me, I think he needs to open the doors for dialogue or debate with small business owners like myself and other restaurateurs and other small business owners to open dialogues. I think the best thing for all of us is a better New York City. And I just think his policies, his Democrat socialistic policies do not work for...
No, they don't work. They can't work. They completely are different than business. And their smiles and their ideology about what they want to do and free rent and free housing and affordable this and affordable that. You just saw somebody. Or actually I showed you the post, who don't want to take a $100,000, $120,000 a year job. If you don't want to take a $120,000 a year job, they're not going to take so-called affordable housing. Ain't gonna happen.
Number 2.
I would tell the American people that the Trump administration under President Trump's leadership are working very hard to bring down affordability in our country. Prices are coming down, as you've seen, as we've heard. The vice president made a great point that I want to reiterate. You know, there's a lot of ideas that are on the table as it pertains to housing affordability, and we're working on those, meeting day in and day out. And you all have alluded to some of those ideas that have been surfacing. But I want to put the axe head to the root. Over 12 million illegal aliens came into our country, which has put a great strain on our housing supply and affordability. During the Biden administration, Sandra and John, the housing policies, the open border policies, the economic policies were weak and really just deflated housing.
All right, so I told you I wasn't going to get into real estate, so I'm just going to tell you I'm responding to what he said, and I'm responding to the the prevailing thought of that if we get rid of newcomers, everything would be fine. There will be more houses available, and the prices will come down. And I'll be the first person to say, bullcrap. And let me tell you why. Let me give you some inside baseball. If Jose and Shaniqua get round up by Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, and they have a house illegally, let's say they live at 123 Elm Street. This is something you could take note of as you're talking to people. And somehow they were able to purchase that home with somehow they got a mortgage. They got a mortgage. They bought the house. The house was theirs. Everything they did to get that house was illegal. They got picked up at Home Depot and they're getting deported. The house is empty. Most people at this point would sit there and think, okay, there's a house that we can now sell to a person who needs affordable housing. That's not going to happen. Here's why it's not going to happen. Just because, and what I'm going to tell you, I want you to think of Democrats and district court judges. Just because they've been evicted, they've been deported, they're never coming back, they still own that asset. You can't just roll up, change the keys, send in a cleanup crew, and resell that house to John American. You can't do it. They still own the asset. Well, Barry, they can confiscate the asset. Under what premise can they confiscate the asset? If they can confiscate the asset, who's paying off the existing mortgage? There's a reason why they call them first mortgages and second mortgages. Let's say Wells Fargo did something and gave, Jose a mortgage. Hey man, somebody owes us something. So what you're looking at is a quagmire of legal movements that have to happen before you can do anything with that property. And then you're going to have the Democrats and the ACLU and everybody else suing, telling you can't take Jose's house. So I just want you, from what you've seen thus far with the district court judges and everything else, since there's no mechanism to repossess that house from that newcomer, how in the hell, if you boot 9 million of them, are you going to get these houses that they have purchased illegally anytime soon? And I have been involved with so many transactions where you've had to sue to clear the title, to get the owner off. That's their asset. As of right now, there is no law that says that somebody from another country can't own a house in a certain state. They may not be able to live in it themselves. They may be deported. That does not negate ownership. And so when I hear people saying all this stuff, I'm like, well, it's going to be easy. Once we get them out of here, we're going to have all these empty houses to do what with? In what period of time?
Because now you've seen how much, you'll see, they'll get money. They will be able to fight it. And then which person are you going to sue? The person that you sent to Mexico? You're going to sue Wells Fargo? You're going to sue... Good luck. And then you've got an election coming up in 2026. There is no way, unless they're rented properties, but even then, it's as affordable as the landlord has. And so what's going to happen is, as more people want to rent these homes, what's going to happen? The market's going to rise anyway. So I understand what some of the influencers are saying out there. I understand the need. I understand their desire to sound good, but none of them have been involved in the actual transactional history of a property. In the scenario I just said to you, some of you are like, well, wait a minute. So they got deported. So I live in Mexico now. I own that property in Chicago. Doesn't mean I don't own the property. I can't come back, but I still own it. And now you're going to have to talk to my lawyer, because good luck trying to get me out of it. You might have to buy it from me. As long as I keep making payments, there ain't nothing you can do anything in the short term. I want you to understand that. Most people aren't going to dig into that and talk to you about it. And I'm sure there's people in the chat going, well, wouldn't they have to forfeit it? Good luck. No, they're not going to have to forfeit it. Well, they got it illegally. So then what are you going to do with the mortgage company? You can't make the mortgage company just go away. This is a nightmare of epic proportions. If people think that they're just going to deport people and then have the availability of these properties
in our country. And so we've been working very hard at HUD to help with affordability. Number one, taking down burdensome regulations that have crippled development and crippled building in our country. And you talk about illegal aliens in our country, 59% of illegal alien households use one or more welfare programs in our country.
59%, 6 out of 10 newcomers are getting money from the government in some way, shape, or form. That's absurd. That's absolutely crazy. I want you to strap in, get the seatbelt tight, and realize this isn't going to happen for at least, if it started today, we're not going to be able to fix this for 2 or 3 years. If you've never been involved in a foreclosure, if you've never been involved in what the process is, and it's even worse in blue states because they don't want to do it. They don't want to take people's homes, even if that person is not supposed to be here. So I'm going to tell you what the solution is going to piss you off even further. The solution is they're going to have to go to Jose, who they kicked out, and say, Jose, how much will it take for you to do this? If they want it quickly. Yes, it's an illegal mortgage. It's all this. It's all. But who knows? Maybe it's not illegal. Maybe the Biden administration changed the rules, which is a whole other thing. What did they do to allow these people to, is it mortgage fraud? You're seeing how long it's taken just with Letitia James. This isn't something that's going to happen like that. I don't care what any podcaster is saying. If you've not been involved in actually doing this exchange, righting these wrongs, working with the bank, changing the documentation, and fixing everything, making it a clean title so somebody else can buy it, we're talking years. And most of the things I've done are pretty much uncontested. What I mean by that is I've talked to a homeowner who's like, I don't want to go through it. I can't afford an attorney, and just figure out what you can do with the bank. If you contest it, I've been involved in deals where people have taken 4, 5, 6 years. 4 or 5 or 6 years with multiple courts. Let's say, Jose decides I'm going to fight this. And I'm going to fight it, and the first thing I'm going to do is declare bankruptcy. Now you can't even sue them. Did you know that? Did you know if somebody's in bankruptcy until it's discharged or the petition is withdrawn, you can't even go forward? See, there's so many things people aren't telling you, That when you sit back and, I've sat and talked to JJ about it. I'm like, hey, man, this is a nightmare, isn't it? He goes, yeah, it's a nightmare. It's got no quick ending. Nope. And of course, they can't come out and say it. They can't come out and tell people that kind of data. Hey, listen, there is no way this is going to get fixed anytime soon. And so that's why, people like me sit back and go, hey, y'all can just talk over X. It means absolutely nothing.
And that cost us about $42 billion. And so just that alone is a tremendous strain. But there's good news on
I'm looking at some of the comments, and somebody goes, if they're deported, then the payments stop, and then they can be foreclosed on. I'm telling you, a foreclosure is not an overnight thing. It's not fast. And there's certain hurdles that the court system has put in place to protect them. If you stop paying your mortgage today, Jose gets tossed out today, but he's paid up until December 1st. There's no foreclosure to happen. Then he would not have to pay for, December, January, and February, and then March, the bank would file. Now, the government could come in and say, listen, this was an illegal mortgage, but now you got to start the legal thing going on, and just trust me. I've done it so many times. If you have a question, email me. This ain't going to be anywhere close to an overnight or even 60, 90-day thing. Time bomb.
Horizon, as you've seen and reported, regulations are coming down, inflation is coming down, mortgage rates are coming down. I believe right now mortgage rates are about 6% or a little bit above, which
yeah. Guys, ladies, I see the comments in here, and some people are saying, well, the bank will just take they can't. That's what you're not understanding. A foreclosure is a legal procedure. There are some states who have judicial enforcement and some that don't, but in any event, a foreclosure does not mean, it has never meant, you didn't pay your bill, the bank takes it. Nope, doesn't mean that. Does not mean that. I'm trying to give you real information. You can choose not to understand it, but a foreclosure has to go through an actual process. Notice of default, then list pendants, and then on and on and on until you actually get your case in front of a judge and says that John Smith has not paid his mortgage, he owes me. And here's another thing nobody's talking about. Let's say today, Jose does, he's deported and he's paid up until December 1st. And this thing takes 6 or 7 months before they can figure out what they're going to do. The meter keeps running. The bank keeps charging. Hey, listen, you think the bank's just going to walk away from 6 or 7 months of interest? No, they tack it on as a part of their judgment. So now if he owed $200, by the time it gets to a point where the court says, yes, we'll grant you the foreclosure, the judgment might be for $230,000, $240,000 once they put the legal fees on it. Oh, but the house is only worth $180,000. You see, I've done it so many times I could do it in my sleep. I know what I tell the bank. I know how to negotiate with the bank. JJ done it because he's worked with me as well. He has other clients. This is a hornet's nest of epic proportions.
It's 12% lower than the president when he came into office.
Number 1.
Officers from our Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, working in teams, have conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as part of this operation. What they found should shock all of America. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses.
Okay, before he gets there, somebody gave a great comment. I wanted to take this comment because I'm going to throw in another nightmare scenario at you. Kilobyte says, I've heard of cases that have taken 3 years to remove the owner from a foreclosed home. They lived there payment free for 3 years. Let me throw something else at you. Some of you guys are going to go, oh, hell no. Okay, so let's say Jose and Maria bought a house. And it was so easy, and he was making good money, he bought a second house. And he rented that house out. And so now the state comes in, the government finds out he got an illegal mortgage. So everything I just told you is bad enough. Now the bank or the government goes to the house, the rental house, and says, hey, who are you? Who's asking? The federal government. Oh, I'm Miguel. Miguel, you got to get out of here. No, I have lease. So before you can even do the other stuff, then you got to figure out what you're going to do with Miguel, who's got a valid lease. What if Miguel is a legal citizen and he has a lease from the bad guy? The bottom line with this is, number one, every case is going to be different. And number two, none of this is going to solve an immediate housing crisis. In addition, as I showed you, the card delinquencies, the student loan delinquencies, the credit card delinquencies, and 800,000, almost 900,000 houses underwater. That storm out there is getting really big, and nobody seems to be talking about it.
It can't be found. Forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed.
So he's basically telling you that almost over half of the people in that Somali-run area of Minnesota, they ain't supposed to be here either. It's complete fraud. We don't have enough states and U.S. attorneys to prosecute all the stuff. Oh, why isn't Pam Bondi doing anything? Do you realize we are in a crime syndicate country? The Democrats have done everything to screw it up for years.
We found troubling patterns with the Uniting for Ukraine program that should have raised serious concerns under other administrations, such as an individual filing to sponsor more than 100 aliens and organizations sponsoring hundreds. We are continuing to investigate these cases. Some of the other troubling cases that our officers found. In one case, officers identified an alien who had overstayed his visa waiver, who was the son of a known or suspected terrorist on the no-fly list. He had previously been found to have engaged in marriage fraud, which resulted in the denial of several immigration benefit requests.
Marriage fraud. Ilhan Omar must be feeling a little bit weird right now. They're closing in. The whole Somali network that they have put together out there, they're starting to dig into it. This is going to be absolutely huge.
He was arrested and is now presently being returned to his country of origin. In another, an individual admitted to obtaining a fake death certificate in Kenya for just $100 to prove he was no longer married. In reality, his wife is alive, living here in Minneapolis, and is the mother of 5 of his children.
All Americans if they were born here, right? Which is the other thing President Trump is trying to do, is do away with birthright citizenship, because that's exactly what they did. I faked my death, I came over here, I got married, I had 5 babies. 5 babies. And I keep getting questions from people in the chat. Guys was Barry, in your example on a home owned by the deported, if they are deported, you can bet they stop paying their mortgage payments. So what? So what? They stop making their mortgage payment. They still own the property. There is nothing there that says the deed just dissolves. I know this is shocking to you guys, and I know it's weird because nobody else is talking about it, and I'm putting stuff out there to you, and you're like, this can't be. This can't be. No, they still own the property. We're going to declare eminent domain. Somebody else asked about the property taxes. Okay, he stopped paying his property taxes. At that point, the state needs to foreclose on him and for the taxes. It still ain't happening overnight. All of your questions are absolutely on point. The problem is you're seeing this and the questions are coming because you can't flipping believe this. You can't believe that they've given 59% of newcomers' mortgages and all this different stuff. And it's a bomb. It is an absolute bomb out there. And you've got numbskulls out there telling kids, oh, it's the boomers. And if the boomers were out of the way, we'd have so much, available housing. And once we could deport everybody, everything's going to be great. They don't have a flipping clue. And wherever you are, here, do this. Whatever state you're in, go into the, like I'm in Florida, I can go into Florida statutes. Whatever state you're in, type in Illinois foreclosure process. Idaho foreclosure process. And you're going to see, and when you're reading it, you're like, oh, shit. It's going to dawn on you. Everything that has to happen. And that's, again, that's not if the district court judges start playing games with the foreclosures. That's a whole other thing. We've seen them fighting Trump tooth and nail. This guy here is talking about the Somalis. Yeah, it's illegal. We're going to take it to court. But now we're in a situation where we don't know if the judges are going to do the right thing. We're in trouble.
And incidentally, he has another wife living in Sweden with whom he has an additional 3 children. In another case, an alien entered the United States without inspection in 2023, was released by Border Patrol. The alien married a U.S. citizen while in removal proceedings and was interviewed at the Minneapolis-St. Paul USCIS field office just last week, where both he and his American spouse, stated under oath that their marriage was legitimate. The USCIS officers conducting the interview were suspicious. The site visits were authorized the same day. The American spouse ultimately that afternoon admitted the marriage was fraudulent and entered into solely for immigration purposes. And with
it's like on all fronts. The Democrats came up with this master plan, and who knows how long they've deployed this plan, and now we're peeling back curtains and onion layers and going, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. And we just keep seeing it, and we got numbskulls going, oh, Pam Body's not doing anything. I don't think anybody thought it was this bad. I don't think anybody could even imagine the depths of depravity that the Democrats were turning this country into.
Through her petition for that alien, this type of same-day action for interview, from interview to site visit, has...
And it's just going to keep happening. So I think the next clip is the last clip. Let me just make sure. Okay. No. So I got 2 more clips for you. This one's pretty funny. So I want you to see what I don't know if it's the mayor or governor of I think it's the governor of Colorado. They're building some affordable housing in California. Listen to how he describes what the affordable housing in California is, and think to yourself, after you just saw that they don't even want to take a $120,000 a year job, are they going to be happy living here?
Interview to site visit has...
This is what affordability looks like here in Denver. Today we opened 128 units of affordable housing here. Let me show you what this means. This means both workforce housing. So if you are someone that's a teacher, that's a nurse, that's a firefighter, looking for a place to work and a place to live, you can live here. If you're looking for permanent supportive housing, that means you might be someone who's coming out of corrections or coming out of homelessness.
So you're going to move your family into this apartment building, and understanding this is like, the words they make up, permanent support, whatever the hell that means. It's a halfway house. We're going to let criminals live here. Oh, and we're bringing homeless people in. But I don't want to live with homeless people and criminals. But I've got kids. I don't want to live with homeless and criminals. What the hell are we doing? What are we? They're putting these people all in one big melting pot. So as he's walking around, it's brand new. Understanding now is he just told you they're going to bring in homeless
and criminals. Tell me how long some of the stuff you see as he's walking around are still going to be there.
I need some supportive services as well. You can see amazingly built public spaces, beautiful outdoor patio and grill. You got my favorite room here, which is game day room, where you can have folks sit and be able to enjoy a game.
So somebody's going to come walking downstairs one day. Hey, let's go ahead and watch the Cowboys play. Where's the big screen TV? There was a giant big screen TV in here. It's no longer here. Because, we brought in criminals and homeless people. Are you going to let your kids go down to the lobby and hang out and watch the football game with criminals and homeless people? He ain't living there. My grandkids ain't going down to, hey, I'm going to go down in the lobby and get some popcorn and watch the game with the homeless guys. Said no parent ever.
If there are case managers who are helping people provide access to services, they have offices right here to be able to connect to people. But the idea is this is true for all levels of affordability. So we want Denver to be affordable for those folks struggling the most, but we also want it to be affordable for working families all across the city. And so that means if you are someone that's making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year.
You're making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, or $80,000 a year. We want you to move into this commune. And the commune is people like you and also homeless people and, criminals recently brought out of jail. I won't be here, but you can watch football games in this room here. And we've got some counseling. So if some of the people need a fix, we can talk to them. You're serious. You're making $80,000 a year and you can't. If you're making $80,000 a year and you can't afford to pay your rent, then maybe you need to move. Because damn, the last place I'm going to live is in a building with criminals and homeless people.
Still have a hard time paying the rent. This is a place that would guarantee you don't pay more than 30% of what you make to rent. We are planning to try to bring on 3,000 units like this every year as part of our city goal. This is what makes Denver affordable. Huge step forward today.
Okay, raise your hand in the chat and tell me if you would like to live with homeless people and criminals. Now, I know some of you guys will probably say, well, Barry, you know what? They're going to screen them and they're going to make sure they're not the worst of the worst. They had a guy got caught smoking weed. A guy got caught shoplifting. Nobody with assaults and, no gun-related crimes. But he smoked weed. I don't want 6-year-old little Susie around the guy who smoked weed. And the homeless guy, she could write about it in her class report. I live next to homeless people. While dad and mom make $80,000 a year and can't get us a damn apartment. But now, you're going to love this one. Because after you just saw that, and you heard that the people won't take the $120,000 a year job, but now you expect them to go into affordable housing. This is what you get. This is affordable housing.
Hey, what's up? So I'll try to make this as quick as possible. But so I've been seeing some posts that have been catching my eye about affordable housing going up in LA and how we need it, and us Angelinos are really thirsting for it, and this and that. All right, so here's one of the projects I'm documenting here in South LA, and it's an affordable housing build, and just in brief, this is what it looks like on the street. Okay, so parking is kind of a bean around here already. And what this build is they took a house that looks like this, and they built 60-some units right here.
All right. So these people had a nice house, and right next to their house, they built a 70-unit affordable housing thing. Right next door, almost like a zero lot line. Hey, he used to have a neighbor, we ripped down their house, and we're putting it, affordable housing. That's the word. When you start hearing we need to remove density requirements, that's what they're talking about. I got a nice house, I mow my lawn, and now they're building a 70-unit building right next door. But that wasn't the good part. Oh, you're going to see the good part.
With no parking. You want to see the inside? I'll show you the inside right now. All right, so I've got a correction on the amount of units being built. It's actually 78, not 60. So this gives you an idea of what affordable housing looks being built here in LA. So we're on second floor already, and we got our elevator. Let's break our way down the hall and go check out unit 206, because I believe tile's already going in. Here's our kitchen.
I know there's some ladies in the chat going, a sink, not a double sink, and there's going to be room for, I don't know, a stovetop, and that's it. That's your kitchen. I won't take $120,000 a year job, but you think they're going to, oh, good. It gets better.
Check out that pine wood. Woo! Ball in. And we keep the headlight on so you can see how this bathroom looks. And then here's our bathroom.
Okay, so you got a little tiny kitchen, and you got a jail cell for a bathroom. Let's see what else you got here, bro.
Got our one bedroom. And that's about it, folks. That's affordable housing for you right here in LA. We just got to pack them on in, right?
It's a jail cell. It's actually a jail cell. It's you're gonna live in the pod, you're gonna eat the bugs, you'll own nothing. You get to move up in here. But you won't take $120,000 job. You're not gonna do that. I told you it was a Friday night, just wanted to have some fun. This is hilarious. Between all the stuff you heard about the foreclosures, and now you hear everybody talking about affordable housing. Now you want to know the punchline. The punchline is they spent $650,000 per unit to give them that. Oh no, there was no fraud involved. We're going to spend $650,000 per unit. God help us. God help us, because we got even people on the right who just took. Gee, I thought they were where I was staying was bad. Oh my God. Somebody when I had planned said I couldn't hit it fast enough. I wouldn't kennel my dog there. They're saying affordable housing, but they're not giving you the rent value. No chance in hell I would live in a place like that. No, Chris, like, nope, no. So as you hear, Deanna's like, what the hell? I hope they're just apartments. I hope they're not going to try and sell them as condos. I can't. I said, Robin, I'm going to do this on a Friday night because I'm going to laugh halfway through it. And I'm going to say the people are going to go, no way, no effing way. I'm like, way. And so I didn't touch on real estate in terms of telling you what to do, but I showed you some real estate on what not to do and what these people are going to have to deal with. They're going to live in pods. They're going to live next to criminals. They're going to live next to homeless people. And they're going to build those things in neighborhoods that aren't supposed to have big, giant project-looking things. Sure, it's going to work fine. It's going to be fine. Oh, my goodness. This is why I don't want to buy and manage rental property. Oh, God, can you imagine what that's going to look like? Nobody would pay to live there.
Oh, the socialists were. I mean, what if they're only going to charge them a couple $100 a month? Well, the other guy said you get to stay with the homeless and the criminals at 30% of your income. So if you, you make, I would say 80,000, you make $7,000 a month. They're only going to charge you $2,000 a month to live with the homeless and the criminals. You come down on Saturday afternoon and watch a football game if the big screen's still there. Oh my God, it's so. Teresa, you are absolutely right. It is so sad that this is what they're pushing onto the American people. I have no words after seeing some of this stuff. And more than likely, most of the stuff I showed you today, you haven't seen on the news. They're not showing you this stuff. So before we go, let me go ahead and give away 3 ounces of silver. Let me get this right so I can give this away. Got to give away 3 of them. It's insane. Oh my God. It makes you want to cry, and I think the only thing you can do at this point is laugh instead of cry, because you're like, this can't be happening in America. This really cannot be happening in America, that we're seeing this stuff. All right, so let me get this squared away so I can show you this, and hopefully everything works right now for 3 things of silver, and let's go ahead and do it. Okay, boom. So I'm gonna pick a winner, and when I pick the winner, where'd the winner go? Pick a winner. Randomize. I think I have to hit randomize. How'd you like to? Okay, draw the winner. First winner is, winner chosen. You guys can see that. The first winner is Arlene Kriske. Arlene Kriske. You can see too much information. Hold on, don't want to give out her stuff. Arlene Kriske, she is a winner. Let me go here and randomize the selection, and let's draw another winner. Winner chosen, and Nicola Booker. Nicola Booker is number 2, and we'll do one more. Randomize the selection, and draw the winner, and winner chosen, and the third one is Jeff Fote. Jeff Fote, you have won a free ounce of silver. Congratulations to all 3 winners. You saw me draw it live, so you can see who the winners are. All right, so let me go ahead and do super chats and get you guys out of here on a Friday evening. I know we laughed, I know we had some fun, but there are some serious problems ahead, and I think now hopefully you can see for yourself that a lot of the right influencers, they may have it in their heart to do the right thing, but it ain't gonna work. It's just not going to. They're not being honest with people, and that's the problem. They're not at all being honest with people, and it's insane, absolutely insane. All right, so getting ready to go to dinner. How come that's not showing up? Oh, I gotta make it bigger first for the first one. All right, here we go. Let me move this over. Okay. Mr. Mike, thank you very much. Absolutely love your channel. Thank you for watching. Brian Newland, participation trophies are our downfall. Yep, Frykowski, when I arrived in the year 1985 as a legal immigrant, started working weekly 90 to 94 hours. That lasted for the first decade, he says. He worked for 90 to 94 hours for the first decade he was in the country. Frykowski again, my first childhood memories were in the shop cleaning the wood chips. I was about 5 years old. Let me see if I can make sure that those fit better. Okay. Andrew DePazzo, I'm 36. I work full-time electronics testing, second job on the weekends, rebuilding, using scientific machinery, and go to school full-time for electrical engineering. Hard work and path to success feels good. You go. You go.
Andrew DePazzo, thank you again. Thank you very for all your good advice. You're welcome. Mel Porter. Hell, I'm 67 years old and I'm not giving up. Nope, because I have worked too hard for what I have, but I would be happy to teach people how to make money. Just got to work. Diamond G, Barry, have inspired me to remain bold and stand for my beliefs over the last year. It'll cost something to grow further, and my fear is shrinking. You go. Don't let fear immobilize you. Bukowski, DOB, 1953. Wow. Christopher Smock, as a boomer, I will never forget what my parents instilled to me. Yeah, you got to wonder what these kids' parents have said to them. How do they not have this ambition in them? I mean, tonight is probably going to be my grandson's last football game. They're in the playoffs. They had advanced to the second round. Ashley texted me and said they're getting butt stomped. So it's probably his last game. But just the experience of understanding winning and losing. And he can't wait for the offseason. He's going to turn into an absolute beast. Cutting edge. The snaps make the military the only way to avoid a rebellion is going to be crazy. Get the pew-pews ready. Yep. I mean, you're seeing it. I mean, I showed you some stuff today. We laughed about it, but Penny Neninger, 2-time breast cancer survivor, worked part-time craft and sell at 68. Congratulations, Penny. Tim, how you doing? My employer paid me for my Class A CDL and HVAC state contractor line. 25 plus years, local government employee, got my HVAC degree 28 years ago. Accomplishments. Donald Donovan, and one more thing. How many of the people using these deceased people's EBT are also on EBT? Yeah. Chapo, how you doing? I went to the New York DMV, was chatting with the lady, and she said they are told to give the newcomers real ID. Now you know why they're fighting so hard. Their whole scam is falling down around them. Cutting edge, the Bible will win again. 2 Thessalonians 3:10, it says, the one who is unwilling to work shall not eat. We need to make that happen. And again, I'll say it all the time. If you're hurt or have a mental issue, we'll take care of you. Chapo, you don't get paid what you think you're worth. You get paid what your job is worth. You think you're worth more, get a better paying job. Yeah, you have to show your employer value. Why should I give you more money? You have to show value. You don't just get a, quote, living wage. Where am I? In my country, Dominican Republic, I worked in a copy center for at least 2 years. I only earned $35 a week. Wow. A week. But I was very happy to earn my own money. Wow. Chapo, Big Mike is washed up and has been trying to stay up. He's talking about the former First Lady, everybody. Mac Quintella, have the university give the loans, not the Fed. Good. Love it. Make the schools do it. People need to hold these schools accountable. Gerald Etheridge, would love for you to teach those who want to work how to take advantage of the housing market. I'm trying. People don't like hearing it, but I'm trying. G. Fisher, the Biden regime most likely handed out mortgages to newcomers using our grandparents' Social Security numbers. Of course, here we are. What a tangled web. Tania, Barry, but your new background makes me seasick. It's not moving. People told me not to use moving backgrounds. Wizard of Ozarks, deportations equal more available housing, higher supply equal lower market prices, more affordable housing. Please play FAFO song. I have to find it. I don't have it on my computer anymore. Neo, very love your shows and movie night the other day. Please don't stop informing RE issues. Very relevant to know. Well, I hope I gave you some information tonight where you can go look in your own state and find out what the foreclosure laws, they differ from state to state. Just in Google, or Grok, what's the foreclosure process where I live in Idaho? What's the foreclosure process in Michigan? And just see what it is. And then you're going to go, oh my God, how come nobody's talking about it? Exactly. Sheila Marie, Secretary Rollins needs to send federal auditors to the blue states who won't hand over the data. I work with federal funds with the state. Send them too. Agreed. Chapo, Domi and his other commies found a little niche. Yeah, Starbucks.
Kinley, these people don't understand. The more they push for this commie revolution, they will crown an emperor, Napoleon Trump, who will destroy them. It's got to be coming. In God we trust. Big Mike only wears wigs. See, you're trying to get me in trouble there. Oh my goodness. Choppa, if it wasn't for us making it, nothing to confiscate. Yep. Mark Contuilla, breaking DC court blocked SACW pulling a seat. I can't help but laugh. I can't help but laugh. That's exactly what you're seeing, what Mac just said. Breaking, the DC court blocked Secretary Duffy from pulling the driver's license. And you think that these courts are going to let the government and states foreclose these people? Good luck. Good luck. Oh, that's crazy. Got to go to the Supreme Court. More time. In God we trust. Us boomers are ready. We got pew-pews. We don't play. That's right. Citizen Mobile Tech player Barry, please look into the Promethean action. This might be of interest. It coincides with what you've been talking about. It would be awesome to bring Susan Kokinda and Barbara Boyd for an interview. I will look into that. Sheila Marie, Washington State gave the original CDL. California renewed it. Wait, it's worse in California. $5.49 for my gas. $12 for a pound of grass. Plan on moving to Florida? Come on down. Come on down. In God we trust. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Housing has become a political issue. You should speak about it. Current event. So I try to tell her. Somebody goes, I just want news. You don't think housing is about news right now? Okay. And God we trust. Thank you, Barry, for sharing all the info. We boomers got your attention for us. Pew-pews have lead, and they didn't come to do my dishes. Chapo, in New York, we have customers in foreclosure for 10 years. Some of you are going to be very surprised when you start looking at the rules for I don't know, eminent domain. Look up that. Look at the people talking are in big trouble. They have no idea what they're talking about. Mariah, it all boggles the mind, Barry. We are heading for more grim times. There is so much that needs to be unraveled. Yep, absolutely. In God we trust again. They definitely have TDS syndrome, but us boomers want to get a check instead of working. They don't have teachers at school to make themselves work. Lynn Hango, I've seen foreclosures sitting for years. You need to send me some of that info. If you've seen foreclosures sitting there, I'd love to get me some information on those. In God we trust. I think President Trump will go for the Insurrection Act. He's going to have to. And by the way, you guys, you see Lynn says, she goes, I've seen foreclosures sitting for years. I don't know where Lynn is, but some of you guys might want to find out where she's sitting, and because that's a blinking neon light of opportunity right there. In God we trust. I think President Trump, the Insurrection Act. Thank you very much for everything y'all do. God bless and pray. Thank you very much. Noel Newcomb, I haven't seen your name. Cubans, bloomers, love America. Yeah, down here, if you guys ever get a chance to go down to Little Havana in Miami, let some people who escaped Castro tell you what it's all about. It's amazing. Nobody in the news ever goes down there. You got your own diaspora where you can actually talk to people who have escaped what they're doing in these other cities. Jennifer Nunn, Montana has trustee sale, not to judicial sale. That's each state is different. Not each, but most. Yeah. Taking notes from Obama's library. In God we trust. Pray for them. We bought out our first house 37 years ago and still live at the same home. Wow. Because we love our location. And Cutting Edge, the asylums for the insane will reopen soon. I hope so. And like Jennifer says here, Montana has a trustee sale, it doesn't get to a judicial sale. It can be faster, except understand when it comes time to file these documents, once they start getting contested, the mortgage is still there. So it just doesn't get, well, you can tell. All right, everybody, thank you for hanging out on a Friday night. I really appreciate it. I mean, I'm getting so many people attacking the channel, so many people coming after me. I don't care. I'm going to stay strong. I'm going to keep going.
And hopefully next week, if everything happens, I should be into the new studio for the day show. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow. So, oh, by the way, it should be pretty much fun. SV will be coming down, so he and I are going to go to lunch someplace, and I get to meet him in person for the first time. Notice he hasn't been here. That's why some people are like, oh, I didn't get booted tonight. Well, he'll be back. Talk to you soon.